Something special once again to the prominence which they both enjoyed for many, many years. Two of the top programs in college football history. And of course, we are in Dallas in the Cotton Bowl and almost halfway between Norman, which is 195 miles away, and Austin. Well, the Longhorns with the advantage there by 2 miles. And you remember Barry Switzer's comment, no matter what the distance, every time he's gotten those players ready. Here come the Longhorns. On a gorgeous day for football in the Lone Star State. Temperatures maybe in the low 80s. That's about it. A threat of rain all week, but it is beautiful as we welcome you in. Terry Gannon along with Dean Blevins. And Dean, as you know, this game needs no extra hype, no added significance, but real best Bob Stoops and Mack Brown.
Well, you know, this game is special, but it seems like it's even more so this time around because of that factor. If nothing else, it's sort of like a bowl-like atmosphere, but those coaches have reinvigorated their programs. Of course, Mack Brown last year going in, such charisma and turning that program around in 1 year. And he said after this game last season, when he won in his first year at Texas, that that's the thing that turned his season around. They came of age, and of course they go on to a 9-3. Popular in Oklahoma right now. He is a no excuses guy. He's instilled an aggressive personality, and he's winning. They seem to like you to win down there, like they do down in Austin.
Well, that helps, and he hasn't lost to Texas yet either, so he's undefeated in that sense. It is incredible, as you know by now. It's no longer the wishbone, no longer the ground game that gets before that. Over 40 yards per return, and he just sliced the ND defense last week. So the question is, will Mack Brown kick it away to Brandon Daniels? The Longhorns have won the toss. They've deferred to the second half.
Well, Texas has struggled with special teams, but it seems to me that they're either really good or not very good at all. They've struggled in the sense that they've had 7 kicks blocked, but at the same time, they've done some things extremely well, and I know Mack Brown loves his kicker.
Chris Stockton, the junior out of Katy, Texas, from Taylor High School, has been one of the best. A couple of game-winning field goals last season. And then the one extra point that he did not convert this year. He had 57 in a row until one was blocked against Stanford. And he's going to get us underway here at the Cotton Bowl. Terry Gannon, Dean Blevins set for a good one here in Dallas. Daniels 3 yards deep. He's going to bring it out. Jackson leading the way, looking for a block, and he's got a seam up the sideline and out to the 38-yard line. Daniels continues his. So it is 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line as Josh Heupel, the JUCO transfer, who has set records in every game so far. Michael Thornton, the only back in the backfield. They fake the reverse, the end around. They throw it over to Thornton. The back, he's got a big hole. First down into Texas territory. Protected their quarterback Heupel very well. Matt O'Neill, Stocker, McDougal have been outstanding so far. The wideouts, you'll see a lot of them. In fact, we have an extra one there in Daniels coming in. Antoine Savage, the freshman, getting another start. And in the backfield, Seth Luttrell, the fullback, averaging over 6 yards per carry. And Michael Thornton, all 5'5" of him, averaging almost 6 yards per carry. So on first down, Heupel wide open is the freshman Savage. He's got running room. One man to beat. It's Jackson to the end zone. Touchdown, Oklahoma.
And you don't tackle many men in open field with athleticism like Savage.
The freshman from Albany, Georgia, Westover High School. 2 plays from the line of scrimmage, 2 complete passes. Josh Heupel again with a touchdown pass, his 17th of the year.
Both coaching
tight end this afternoon. And of course, Hodges Mitchell taking over for Ricky Williams. He sat behind them for a couple of years. And Ricky Brown, the fullback, leading the way. So it's 1st and 10 at the 26, and Mitchell the lone setback. He's going to get the call on first down, hit behind the line of scrimmage and dumped right there. Rocky Kalmus, the sophomore out of Tulsa, and right away we see the Sooners bringing the linebackers.
Likes to throw it, but Oklahoma's expecting Texas to try to establish that they can run the ball today, and they're looking to stop that. Notre Dame ran it at Oklahoma very successfully last weekend.
We saw Woods at the corners, and Mike Woods, one of the best one-on-one man-to-man cover guys in college football. They're coming again. Applewhite just does get it away, and he is pounded to the turf. Intended for Ryan Nunez. But Rocky Kalmus was right in his face again.
He and William Barty, 28. Oklahoma comes with its share of pressure here. You'll see Oklahoma with Barty coming from the corner. Safety blitz in this case. Texas does not pick it up. And Applewhite, who had a long day last weekend against a very physical Kansas State team, does not want to see that happen again today.
Yeah, you have to believe that they want things to go smoothly early because he's coming off a game in which he has turned it over 6 times against Kansas State. So it's 3rd and 12. Nunez in motion to the near side. 4 receiver set. Out of the gun. And a bad snap dropped by Applewhite. Plenty of time. Cavill has it. Across the 30 and up to the 32, but well shy of a first down. Pee Wee Woods, the cornerback out of Chicago on the coverage. And again, Applewhite has to pick himself up off the turf.
Well, not the way you want to start if you're Texas. Texas was slow getting the snap off to begin with. Applewhite barely gets it. He does complete it. As you see, the play clock is almost down to 0. Ball snapped low. Major has the poise and presence to hold it and find Kwame Cavill, who almost makes the first down, but it was a good defensive first series for Oklahoma.
So 13:02 and counting as Darrell Jackson back deep, awaiting the punt of Ryan Long. 7-0 Oklahoma. They scored on their first possession, just 2 plays, 62 yards, and a long pass, 44-yarder. And this one off the side of the foot of Long. And we'll see if it even got to midfield. It didn't, up to the 48-yard line, and that is where Oklahoma will take over. Only a 16-yard punt by Ryan Long, the junior from Richardson, Texas. Well, what a scene. The Ferris wheel of the Texas State Fair. The backdrop of the Cotton Bowl here in Dallas. Terry Gannon, Dean Blevins with you as Oklahoma leads early.
Oklahoma got on the board first series. Only the second play, fake right, dump it back under. And the side had completely cleared out as Oklahoma had done a nice job of clearing and Texas busting on the play in 2 plays and a touchdown.
It was Antoine Savage, 44 yards. Here's the quick out to Damian Mackey, who has a good gain on first down. Inside the 40-yard line, Everett Rawls, the outside linebacker from Texas City, Texas, making the stop.
Well, this is a game that will have more swings emotionally than any other game that these kids will play in. But right now, Texas is on the downswing on this thing, and if Oklahoma jams it in real quickly, 14-zip, that's a major thing to come back from.
So a gain of 6 on first down for Mackey. And it is 2nd and 4. Heupel changing the play at the line of scrimmage. And they'll do this often. Comes out of the huddle with a lot of time left on the play clock. Has time to throw, has a man open. It's Savage again, another catch at the 26-yard line. He was locked up one-on-one with Greg Brown, and another perfect throw from Heupel. But there is a penalty marker on the play, and it's on the far side of the field. And actually, now they've got 2 flags down. So they'll bring it back. Referee Randy Crystal and his crew working the game in Dallas today.
Well, Texas says, hey, guys, let's regroup. Carl Reese, a terrific coordinator. This is a very, very good Texas defense. Gives them a chance to catch their breaths, get back and say, hey, that gave us the
illegal formation on the offense. It'll be a 5-yard penalty and remain 2nd down.
If that penalty's not there, Oklahoma's on the move the change, but now it's different.
So it brings up 2nd and 9. And Heupel again out of the shotgun as Thornton, the tailback, the lone back in the backfield right now. Heupel with a lot of time again. Got a man and a big gain. Knocked out of bounds inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. Brandon Daniels, the best athlete, maybe the best all-around player on this team with another big gain. This time not a kick return, though. The pass from Heupel.
Oklahoma spreading the field. Texas having trouble keeping up with the little fast receivers. Brandon Daniels, the former quarterback kick returner, he's showing that he can catch the football and run, but the Longhorns very confused right now with what Oklahoma's doing offensively, and by being spread out, they're stuck on islands and having trouble in man-to-man.
Heupel 4 for 4 for over 100 yards already. He's got 104 on the day and 11:38 left in the first quarter. And a world of time, and now he goes down. He runs out of time. Back to the 32, Cedric Woodard, the senior from Sweeney, Texas, got there. But that was a coverage sack in the secondary. He had loads of time for a while.
Well, it was several things. You're right on the coverage sack. Number 2, it's a great rush by Cedric Woodard. Number 3, you've got to get rid of that ball. Josh Heupel plays because of many things, but first and foremost, he's a very bright quarterback. He doesn't make mistakes like that. That's a big one for Oklahoma. Great play by Woodard.
But backs him up all the way to the 33-yard line. 2nd and 29 now. Another 4 receiver set out of the shotgun. Heupel. Little shovel pass to his back, Thornton out of the backfield. The little guy cuts outside, but can only get down to the 25-yard line. The defense for Texas this afternoon, Aaron Humphrey active at 1 defensive end spot, but Casey Hampton, over 300 pounds, the man who just dominates at the line of scrimmage. And the linebacking core very active as well. Tyrone Jones getting another start for Aaron Babineau, who is still injured, but he will see time today. D.D. Lewis very quick in the middle. Brooks and Hill at the corners. Brown and Jackson, and that's a secondary that is young and has already been tested today. Third and 19. Luttrell, the fullback, the lone setback. Heupel the throw. Perfect throw and through the hands of Savage. Ahmad Brooks on the coverage, but that ball right over the outstretched arm of Brooks.
Interesting that Heupel would choose to go to the deep man here. He threw a perfect pass. It was a low percentage completion, though, chance for completion, because he was pretty well defended. Great throw, but he had an open receiver in the flat. He could have picked up enough yardage to give him a chip shot for a field goal. As it is now, Terry, it's a 43-yard attempt.
Tim Duncan on his longest so far this year, 26 yards. They've only had a couple of field goals, though. That's how good the offense has been. Plenty of leg on the kick, and it is good. Duncan with a field goal. That would have been good maybe from 50, 55 yards. He kicked that almost out of the end zone. 10-0 Sooners early on. And Mack Brown looking at his team a week ago, of course, with the turnovers, the penalties, and the loss to Kansas State. He can't be happy about the way things have gone here.
Well, it really couldn't have started worse, except that Oklahoma could have scored a touchdown on that second possession instead of a field goal. But Oklahoma got the long kickoff return, 2-play score, his team 3 and out, and Oklahoma takes it down, ends up with a field goal. So it's time for the Longhorns to respond.
Oklahoma outscoring its opponents in the first quarter this season, 45-7 when you add in the 10 in today's game. Jeremy Jones, Victor Ike back deep. It's going to be Ike from the 15. A little bit of a seam and out to the 34, maybe the 35-yard line. Pretty good field position for the Longhorns in their second possession of the afternoon. Well, ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. The United States Army Reserve, be all you can be. State Farm Insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And Burger King. When you have it your way, it just tastes better.
Texas still sticks with its game plan, obviously. It's early in the game. You're down only 10 points, so Greg Davis is not pushing any panic buttons yet.
Ricky Brown, the fullback, sets up in the eye right in front of Hodges Mitchell. Give it to Mitchell looking for room outside, and he's not going to get there. Brandon Moore, the junior out of Freeport, New York, initially in on the stop, but a number of friends to help him. Now the Dell Game Solutions. We talked to Mack Brown to ask him what those were today, Dean.
Texas felt coming into the game that they had to handle the Oklahoma pressure. Sooners got to them with blitz early. Turnovers, kicking game have hurt them, and Mack says, hey, we've got to be consistent through 4 quarters. He doesn't want to be consistent the way they're playing right now, but he wants to play well and be consistent.
2nd and 8 now. Mitchell gets the call, the cutback, a big hole. Across the 45 and across midfield. The speed of Mitchell run out of bounds finally at the 28-yard line. Hodges Mitchell finally run out of bounds by Pee Wee Woods.
Hodges Mitchell coming into his own. He had 188 against Rice, but other than that, he's been pretty much held in check. Hodges, though, will like the cutback. Watch him run right here, flow to the right when you have an aggressive team like Oklahoma. Cuts back against it. I thought he was going to go here. He's got good speed, but Oklahoma tracks him down, and he goes out of bounds after a big play for Texas. Exactly what the Longhorns needed.
You look at the numbers on Mitchell until that Kansas State game in which he had 45 on the ground. He was really running well the last 3 prior to that. 1st and 10, Cavill in motion. He comes back to this side. Major Applewhite right out to Kwame Cavill and read perfectly. The Oklahoma Sooner defense very active on that play. Brandon Moore again, we call his number 46.
Well, one of the problems with Texas this year offensively is that you're missing some people. I mean, you've got Wayne McGarity over here with the Cowboys just a few miles away, and you've got Ricky Williams down there with Ditka. They're not in the backfield or wide receiver. That keeps you from stretching a defense the way you would like to. So Oklahoma can concentrate on Cavill and make Major Applewhite beat them. They're still good offensively, but they're still missing that.
Jeremy Jones, the one man who's been able to stretch the defense down the field, namely last week. With a couple of long catches, they show blitz again, and they may be offside. The snap over the head of Applewhite all the way back to the 48-yard line. But the Sooners may have jumped the gun.
Yeah, you know what? I think this was a great play by Major Applewhite. Oklahoma felt they knew the timing of his cadence. Rodney Rideau is a terrific and smart safety. He couldn't stop. He thought he had the cadence down, and I think Major stopped when he normally would have gone with the count.
Offside defense, a 5-yard penalty and remains 2nd down.
Little things you don't really notice from quarterbacks get you 5 yards. That's important right there. You don't have to waste it down, obviously.
And, Dean, if he didn't do that, Rideau had a running start from about 20 yards. Right. Applewhite may have never gotten off the turf.
That was kind of an unusual blitz, wasn't it? You just take off the 20 and don't slow down.
A flat sprint.
You've got to be pretty sure he's going to snap the ball at that point.
So with the penalty, it's 2nd and 6 now. Major Applewhite with a back spread in the backfield. Nunez and Cavill, the receivers, they give it inside to Ricky Brown. Pays the price at the 23-yard line. Rocky Kalmus in on the stop. Brown, the senior out of Arlington, Texas, and of course one of those who led the way for Ricky Williams in his record-setting year.
Hey, that was very close to going for a big play or a touchdown. Rocky Kalmus, the outstanding linebacker at Oklahoma there, you see him, number 20, was on the ground, got an arm out and got down Brown, but Texas was close to putting him in the end zone.
They need 4 for the first down here, so a key 3rd down for Major Applewhite and the Longhorns. Long count. Looked like there was movement on the right side. They're going to whistle it dead. It may have been the right tackle, Corey Kwai, who jumped.
Prior to snap, ball start on the offense. It'll be a 5-yard penalty and remain 3rd down.
Well, both teams are going to bluff a lot today. They're going to disguise coverages, but by bluffing, I mean blitzing. They're going to try to get the quarterback and the lineman off of their game. And that time, the young offensive line of Texas fell victim to what Oklahoma was trying to do.
Bob Stoops in his first Texas OU matchup, and everyone's been telling him how difficult it is, how bitter it is. He said, I've been part of rivalries before, but I believe you. I know if I don't win this game very often, I'm out of here.
Trips right here on the near side to us. A lot of one-on-one coverage right there.
Sooners showing blitz again. Applewhite, there's the one-on-one coverage. Corner of the end zone, incomplete. He overthrew Jeremy Jones.
Oklahoma likes that matchup, Jeremy Jones against their best corner, and in fact Stoops calls Mike Woods the best corner he's had wherever he's been. He's had some great ones at Florida and Kansas State, but that is a good-looking offensive set if I'm sitting back there at quarterback, because the field spreads so much. The game's changed so much. I mean, just looking at from our perspective up here and from yours at home, you can tell how spreading the field has really changed the game.
And here's Chris Stockton on for an attempt from 46 yards. He's already hit one from 50 yards this year. Right side and no good. Just outside the right upright. So it's been all Oklahoma so far. There's Bob Stoops and his reaction on the sidelines. Is it? Is it? Is it? No. Still 10-0. The shutout continues. So many great moments in this matchup's history. 1971, Greg Pruitt with a 20-yard TD run, and the Sooners went up 28-14 in the second quarter. That was a great one that year. Jack Mildred then on the keeper left. The nice block and a 7-yard touchdown run. It was all Sooners. The final 48-27. They beat Darrell Royal, went on to an 11-1 year, and of course, the wishbone made famous during that era.
Well, it was, and Darrell Royal actually began it earlier, and he had a great run in this series throughout the 60s, dominating it. And then Oklahoma started in 71 and didn't lose again to Texas until 77.
So it's 1st and 10 for the Sooners at the 29-yard line. Josh Heupel changing the play again at the line of scrimmage, and now under center. Here come the Longhorns on the blitz. They're going to run outside. Seth Luttrell, the fullback, got by one, cuts back. Good gain across the 40. He's got a first down. So the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Capacity crowd for the 54th consecutive year. Better than 75,000 for the Red River Shootout. Terry Gannon, Dean Blevins. It's been all Oklahoma so far. 10-0. They scored on their second play from scrimmage, a 44-yard touchdown pass from Josh Heupel to Antoine Savage, the freshman. And then the field goal has made it 10-0.
Oklahoma's changed philosophy. It was 6 minutes to go in the first. They ran their first rushing play right there.
It's not 1971, is it?
Or 72, 73.
Under pressure, out to the fullback Luttrell. Gets by one again, a nifty move out to the 44-yard line. What's going on with Drew Brees? John Saunders in New York. Let's check in with him. John?
Well, Terry, as you know, Drew Brees can distribute the ball. How about catching the ball here on the Burger King update? Vinny Sutherland, 12 yards. Everyone loses Drew Brees. He almost goes out of bounds, fakes himself up, but gets the touchdown and ties the game at 7 apiece. Terry.
All right, John, I'm not sure he's going to switch to receiver anytime soon, but effective this time. Dean, how about this alignment?
Got 3 receivers, 2 defenders out there right now. Oklahoma's got them confused, and they go the other side.
Quick out to Daniels, a nice move across midfield to the 48. So an odd-looking alignment, but it works as they come back to the near side.
Texas was lucky there. Oklahoma had 3 receivers out to the right. Texas was totally confused. They had 2 guys out on that side. 1 came away from it. You got the 3 there. You got 2 defenders over here. 1 kind of saunters back. And Oklahoma, thinking that Texas would overreact the way they're covering now, comes back to the near side.
Look at the alignment once again, D.
Never seen this one from Oklahoma.
Neither is Mack Brown.
They're bunched in the right, bunched in the left, and bunched in the middle.
The 2 tackles are spread wide in the middle. Flags on the play. That one could have been picked off. Through the hands of Curtis Fagan as he was hit hard, but that was a dangerous pass. Roderick Babers, the freshman out of Houston, came up. Could have picked it off. See what the flag is about. Well, if you're an official, you haven't seen that alignment lately either.
No, I haven't. Had it in flag football about 12 years ago. And that's what I think this offense, for the most part, is.
Illegal formation on the offense. It'll be a 5-yard penalty and remain first down.
Now Cale Gundy is hollering there. Is it Bob? It's Cale Gundy because he's saying, hey, we have 7 men on the line of scrimmage.
Well, they'll talk about that, look at the films, and try to really figure out why the procedure penalty.
At this point, you probably don't try to get too cute yourselves and go back and do what you did to begin the game, as Heupel once again checks, and it's not so loud that the players can't hear him.
1st and 15. Heupel with time throws the out. Daniels, did he hold on? He did. Caught at the 40-yard line. Ahmad Brooks was draped all over Brandon Daniels, but he held on the sideline, and that is something that the Sooners did not do a week ago.
Well, Heupel's one of his greatest strengths is his accuracy. Brandon Daniels gets some cushion from the corner. He's open and tries to make a circus grab out of it. I think if he keeps going, that ball's right on the numbers. But regardless, Oklahoma gets the catch and 2nd and short.
against the Irish in South Bend. After they looked at the film, the Oklahoma coaches said they counted 10 dropped passes, and it's something they've worked on all week in practice with a pitching machine, actually almost like a baseball pitching machine. Second and a long two for a Heupel. Looked like the Longhorns may have been drawn off. Complete to Fagan. He has a first down, and we'll see what the penalty marker is about once again. It looked like the Longhorns, maybe Casey Hampton jumped.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. Yep. It'll be a 5-yard penalty and remains second down.
Well, Oklahoma clearly has Texas back on its heels and confused at this point. This offense is very unusual, Terry. There aren't many teams that run this particular style. Kentucky's one of them, and BYU runs a strain of it. But Oklahoma has them confused, and by cadence, they get the offsides there. And they've had 3 touchdowns they've made this year when the defense comes offsides by continuing the free play.
But they drew them offside, so they back them up, and that's the 4th penalty already for Oklahoma. They came in with only 23 all year. Heupel throws, guns it right on the numbers. Fagan with the first down at the 31-yard line. They'll move the chains again. Joe Walker, who's been out with an ankle injury, on the coverage, but another perfect strike from Josh Heupel, this time to Curtis Fagan.
Sooners fielding against this secondary, if they can get time to throw the ball that curls, that's one of the routes that is wide open, and that way you saw that Walker, with that ankle being a little bummed up, he was about 5 yards off the man.
How are these for numbers, huh? 7 out of 7, 138 yards. 5 receivers in now. Going up top, Jackson one-on-one, turns around with a catch to the end zone. Jarrell Jackson, the senior out of Houston, what a terrific comeback for the catch. Number 18 on the year for Heupel. Jackson with his 5th touchdown catch, and he had to come back to do it. Tim Duncan on for the extra point again. Straight on through. And a stunned Longhorn contingent at the end zone, in which Heupel has gone to for 2 touchdowns already. 17-0. The Sooners are rolling here in Dallas.
The goal of this offense is to stress the defense and throw it where they are not. Josh Heupel gets one-on-one out on the corner with Jarrell Jackson. Stop it right there. That's number 1, Jarrell Jackson. Number 1, Urvis Hill. Literally, they're going against each other. An underthrow on purpose. Hill doesn't react as quickly as Jackson. Quick 6 for Oklahoma.
And Heupel does that as well as anyone I think I've seen, at least this year.
A lot of that is just communication. It's repetition and practice. And I guess that's the most surprising thing to me, is that Oklahoma's been a running school, yet they look like they've been doing that type of thing for years.
Mack Brown trying to figure out how to stop this explosive offense. Tim Duncan once again kicks it away. Victor Ike 3 yards deep. He's going to bring it back. Still up to the 33-yard line, but a flag on the play back at the 20. And they may bring it back. Well, NFL action Sunday night. Tomorrow night on ESPN. A Battle of the Bays. Tampa Bay taking on Green Bay. Brett Favre at Lambeau Field, the not yet frozen tundra. Then Monday Night Football. Jacksonville taking on the New York Jets live at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 Pacific on ABC Sports.
Preliminary statement. Holding against the Longhorns.
So the holding penalty will back up the the Longhorns after a nice return by Victor Ike. So
on the return team, it'll be a 10-yard penalty. 1st and 10.
Dean, if you're Mack Brown right now, you're just trying to get your guys' composure and say, don't panic.
Well, it's a surreal experience. I mean, you don't expect this. If you're just tuning in, it's 17-0 with 4:06 to go. Now, Mack Brown will tell you that this is an extremely young team. They're hot and cold, and just as quickly as they're 17 down, they can come back and get in it. He'll say, guys, this is the same Oklahoma team that was 16 ahead of Notre Dame last week, and they got beat, and we're better than Notre Dame.
They start at their own 14-yard line. Split the backs. Ricky Brown, Hodges Mitchell. Straight drop for Applewhite. Major hasn't gotten it going yet. Throws low, and Nunez can't hang on. Would have had a first down. Pee Wee Woods on the coverage, the senior out of Chicago.
Well, the numbers have been staggering for Oklahoma all season long. That's just unbelievable. Texas is at 7, and Josh Heupel and company at 176. Let's extrapolate that out. He's looking at about an 874-yard day.
Well, that may be a record, I would think. Set the record Major Applewhite did last year in this series, 293 yards. So that's the most anybody's ever thrown between these two teams when they get together. That's very much in danger.
I guarantee that will not continue on. Carl Reese is a heck of a defensive coordinator for Texas.
2nd and 10, and a big hole for Hodges Mitchell across the 20 to the 21-yard line before he's tripped up by Rodney Rideau at 20 tackles last week against Notre Dame.
Well, it's a nice job by Major Applewhite. Once again, he catches Oklahoma blitzing, and that's right where you want him. He cuts that. He has him a little gash and gets through.
But it brings up 3rd and 3, and so far the Longhorns 0 for 2 on 3rd down conversions.
He likes Kwame. Loves Kwame Cavill on 3rds.
Cavill in motion now. Major sets, has time over the middle, got his back. Hodges Mitchell out of the backfield. That should be enough for a Longhorn first down. So the first conversion today on 3rd down for Texas.
Well, Oklahoma had its eyes on number 9 as well. It's a nice job. There, as you see, that's where the ball's going to go. Hodges Mitchell will release. Sooners watching 9 underneath. All he's doing is stopping a yard behind the first down marker. Nice execution.
Hodges Mitchell with a broken bone early in the season in his hand. Really has a large cast on it throughout the week, and then they take that off for the game.
Yeah, that's what he was telling us last night. That was a heavy-looking cast.
Yeah. Says it really doesn't slow him down much. Thought it might, but it just can't switch it to his left hand like he would like to. Applewhite throws. Incomplete. A lot of contact, and the Longhorn fans and Major Applewhite wanted the call. Bo scaped the tight end, the intended receiver, and he was locked up with Rodney Rideau.
Well, a couple of things for Texas that they have to be concerned about right now. First of all, if Major Applewhite gets that kind of time, I think he's thinking he's going to have receivers who are open. And he's wanting a penalty call there for interference. But Oklahoma did not get the pressure. I thought that they would have trouble bringing pressure in a conventional fashion. They didn't get the pressure, but still he wasn't open. Oklahoma, a great job by Rideau of coverage.
Well, the Major now in shotgun formation on 2nd and 10. 3 receivers, trips to the near side. Inside give, Mitchell breaks outside through the arms of Rideau. He's got a first down. And out to the 45-yard line. Rocky Kalmus, the sophomore out of Tulsa, ran him down, but the burst of speed. Hodges Mitchell able to get outside.
And that's what I'm talking about spreading the field. See, hold it right there 1 second, please. Okay, let's go, and we'll see Hodges Mitchell bust up the gut. But Texas has receivers spread out all over the field, and when you get through the line of scrimmage like that, there's not much back there. You've got a safety who can make a touchdown-saving tackle.
He's too quick to hold that thing. You got to go with
that. He is. He's as quick as Hodges Mitchell.
Brandon Moore shaken up, the outside linebacker for the Sooners. Looked like he had a hand injury, so he came out of the ball game a moment ago. We'll check on him. 1st and 10. Major Applewhite with time again, going to the near sideline. Turned Cavill around. Didn't know where the football was. Kwame Cavill one-on-one with Pee Wee Woods.
Well, every game you're going to have 5 or 6 opportunities for big plays. That's 0 for 1 for Texas right there. Major Applewhite will have a real good percentage, by the way. He'll have a percentage about like you did shooting free throws at NC State, by the way. But he takes advantage of them, Terry. And that time, Kwame Cavill got the one-on-one. He had his man beat, overthrew it.
Checks in the mail, by the way. Kwame Cavill with over 100 yards last week in the game against Kansas State. 7 catches for 103 yards. Hasn't gotten it going yet here. 2nd and 10. Applewhite over the middle, and he's got his man complete. Montrell Flowers to the 18. Rodney Rideau ran him down, but Flowers, the sophomore out of Skyline High School here in Dallas, with a big game.
Texas with another chance for a big play here as Oklahoma is cleared out on the right side. and they love getting Montrell Flowers the ball in open field. He's a tough man to cover one-on-one, although that was a zone with Rideau in the back, able to hold him down. This guy can flat out fly.
And a sub 10-second 100 meters in high school. Your deep threat right there. 12 catches on the year. And the last play, a 37-yard gain. So 1:45 and counting. And 1st and 10 from the 19. Under pressure and almost picked off. It should have been. Pee Wee Woods will never get a better opportunity than that.
Well, that's a play that Oklahoma had a chance to pick one off here, as the line for Texas will allow Oklahoma the rush because it's a screen. Major doesn't see Woods, and we don't either, but he had the ball in his hands for just a moment, and he might have gone all the way had he caught that.
He had no one in front of him. The pressure from Rocky Bright may have taken away that opportunity for Applewhite. They're going to whistle this one dead before it gets underway.
Sooners confused, scrambling on a man at the last moment, and lucky to get a timeout there. Nice composure, though, by the Longhorns on this drive.
And the big play, of course, to Montrell Flowers, the first time they've been able to use the speed at the wideout spot for a 37-yard gain. But the timeout by Oklahoma to get things set defensively. 2nd and 10 when we come back. (17-0) Oklahoma over Texas. The Red River shootout. 1:40 left in the first quarter. And Mack Brown trying to get his troops composed and back into this one. Bob Stoops got to love the way this has started. Offensively, they open things up as usual. 2 long touchdown passes from Josh Heupel as well as a field goal.
If you play match play in golf, you'll understand this analogy. Oklahoma comes out and birdies the first 3 holes. But you know, there are 18 holes in a golf match. And Texas is coming back now, about to get one of those holes back. That's the way you have to look at it in football.
Well, Justin Leonard is a Texas guy now. He's a Dallas guy.
Boy, he's got some fight in him, doesn't he?
What a great moment that was a couple of weeks ago.
Unbelievable.
Ben Crenshaw on with Brent Musburger and Bob Greasy a week ago in the game against Kansas State.
Gentlemen. Texas is a great team once it gets down to this part of the field, Terry. Look at those numbers.
20 touchdowns out of the 26 that they have scored. Brandon Moore back in the game, by the way. He had the hand injury, but he's back in. 2nd and 10, and they'll whistle it again. Movement by the Longhorns.
What you're seeing is a young, inexperienced offensive line.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. It'll be a 5-yard penalty and remain 2nd down.
Both defenses, the Sooners and the Longhorns, do a lot of stemming and blitzing and just trying to confuse people. And not only the quarterback, the offensive line as well. And it's happened both ways against Oklahoma and against Texas here early.
3rd penalty against Texas for 22 yards. Oklahoma with 4 penalties so far on the day. And it has been one of Mack Brown's team's problems. The penalties and the turnovers, especially in the kicking game, actually. So it's 2nd and 15. Major under pressure through the hands of a diving Kwame Cavill. Rocky Kalmus was there, but the pressure in the backfield coming from Brandon Moore just came back into the ball game.
Brandon Moore is a key player in this game today. 46. They line him up this play right out here on the outside. He's typically a linebacker. Now he's lined up in an end position. Blitzing here. He'll blitz all day. Almost gets to the quarterback before. Still disrupts it. Good coverage by the linebacker. Texas will make an adjustment and cover him sooner or later.
Key 3rd down play to keep this drive going as Ryan Nunez goes in motion to the far side. Sooners showing blitz again with Rideau. Applewhite going to go down. This one was whistled dead, I believe, though, before Roy Williams got to the backfield and took down Major Applewhite. So this one has gotten sloppy the last couple of minutes.
Prior to the snap, delay on the offense. It'll be a 5-yard penalty and remain third down.
Well, what's happening here is that Oklahoma is doing some things defensively that Texas was not prepared for. Oklahoma says that it has not played a team where they could install its base defense consecutive weeks. In the first game, they played a team that ran true wishbone. Then they played a team that was one back, and then finally against Notre Dame, they played two backs. So they're finally getting into their defensive rhythm and being able to bring more blitzes, and it's confusing Texas at this point.
Mike Stoops, Brent Venables, the co-defensive coordinators for the Oklahoma Sooners. They backed him up all the way to the 29-yard line. Oh, it's 3rd and 20 for Major Applewhite. Here come the Sooners again on the blitz. Did they pick it up? Cavill out of bounds. Made the catch, but he was out of bounds.
Well, Major got major pressure once again. He's thinking that it's last week against Kansas State. This time Oklahoma, in the person of Torrance Marshall, number 10 rather, was able to get in the face and cause an incompletion that otherwise I think his man was open.
Got help from Moore and Callens. Number of white jerseys in that backfield. So here's Chris Stockton. From 46 yards. Plenty of leg and good. So he's 1 for 2 on the afternoon. The Longhorns on the board. It's 17-3.
It's the biggest night in sports. After game 1 of the series, Mike Tyson returns. Live on Showtime. Mike Tyson versus Orlin Norris Jr.
Some life for the Texas Longhorns now. They get on the board with a 46-yard field goal by Chris Stockton. It is 17-3 with 1:21 left in the first quarter. And Stockton will kick it away back deep for Oklahoma. Darrell Jackson and the dangerous Brandon Daniels.
Like golf analogy, Texas didn't necessarily win the hole, but they have the hole. They have, their feet are back under them.
Held their own a little bit.
That's right.
Some confidence now. Jackson takes the short kick and may have lost a couple of yards back to the 19. Purposely kicked away from Brandon Daniels. Next Saturday, right here on ABC Sports. Most of you in this region see the Colorado Buffaloes against Texas Tech, a Big 12 matchup. Here are the other games available. Michigan State, Purdue, another good one. Virginia, NC State, California at UCLA. Check your local listings. Call your cable operator, your Dish TV, Direct TV. See what's available. Big 12 standings. Certainly this game will have an effect on the Big 12 South. Reggie Skinner now in the backfield from Michael Thornton. Under pressure. Heupel throws, and a nice catch at the 25-yard line. Chris Hammonds, the tight end and a junior out of Sulphur, Oklahoma, a diving catch.
Well, for Oklahoma, they started in such a flurry. We're just not able to tell you what their Dell game solutions are, but you understand, I'm sure. Oklahoma feeling the Texas pressure coming from all different sides would be the most important thing. So far, pretty good. Stopping the run, pretty good, and limiting Applewhite so far, very good.
2nd and 5. Play action. Heupel on the roll again to Hammonds, his 13th catch of the year. Knocked down right at the first down marker, and there's a flag late in the secondary. But Hammonds, the walk-on transfer from East Central University, and a great story. Worked his way on the football team here, and now a starting tight end.
Well, it is a great story because he had left East Central, as you mentioned, as the call will go Texas's way against the Sooners. Oklahoma missing a very, very good tight end in Matt Anderson, who's out for the season with a knee injury, but he was a key player in this offense.
So the interference call against the Sooners going to back them up. But Hammonds and Trent Smith have filled in admirably.
And you know, Texas has lost a couple as well. Oklahoma also lost Scott Kempnick, a terrific tackle who will play in the NFL, an offensive lineman, at least in my opinion.
Pass interference on the offense. It'll be half the distance to the goal. Replay, second down.
But the injury that really hurt Texas was in that opener when they lost the two safeties. You know, they lost Quentin Jammer for the year with a knee, and Chris Butcher, his career's over. That put them in a jam.
Who came in for Jammer in that game, the backup safety, so they lost 2 guys right away in the secondary against NC State. Michael Thornton back in at the tailback spot. 2nd and 17 from the 13, and down goes Heupel. The ball is loose, but it's an incomplete pass. It is ruled an incomplete pass as Aaron Humphrey jarred it loose from Heupel.
All right, Texas has it going its way right now. They get pressure on Heupel. They want the fumble. Let's take a look at that and see if it's a fumble. Is the arm moving forward? Well, I don't know. That is a very close call. One more time.
Yeah, I believe it is.
I would say it is. But it is a very close call.
As to when that ball was loose, but the arm was coming forward. Here come the Longhorns again on the blitz. Heupel flushed out, under duress, throws it up, and it's incomplete. And he wants an interference call. Michael Thornton was out there locked up one-on-one. There was a lot of contact, but I don't think Greg Brown interfered with his progress, but a big stop for the Texas Longhorns, Dean.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The worst they got out of this was getting the ball back, and they almost got it down right at the goal line. But now they score, and they hold Oklahoma. Momentum shifting. I told you it shifts more in this game than any I was ever a part of.
It's done it through the decades when you look at the series record, and it does it within the games in this rivalry.
It's because of the high emotion and because of the split in crowd.
Courtney Garcia back deep, awaiting the punt of Jeff Ferguson, his first of the afternoon. From his own end zone, gets it away. Fair catch. This one's going to go out of bounds. And the Longhorns will have terrific field position inside Oklahoma territory at the 43-yard line when they take over offensively. An ABC Sports presentation of college football will return after this word from our ABC stations. Second quarter about to begin here in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. 17-3 Oklahoma as they cool themselves off on the sidelines. Temperatures in the low 80s. But Dean, you do sense the momentum shifting a little bit right here. A big stop for the Longhorns, and now great field position.
Yes, it is. And as the game goes on, they're figuring out what Oklahoma's doing defensively, and the young offensive line's calming down. 1st and 10 at the 43 of Oklahoma. It's batted down at the line of scrimmage. Ramon Richardson, number 91, 6'1", 293 pounds, got his arm up. Well, he is the round mound of rebound. He's a 6'1" at the most guy. Oklahoma wanting to bat balls down today, feeling that Major Applewhite with his 3-quarter delivery, you know, it's not straight overhead, that they would have an opportunity to bat some balls down. Plays is always more important than time of possession, but in this case, the most important thing is right there. Oklahoma 17-3. If you score quickly, it doesn't matter, does it?
Trips to the near sideline. Out of the gun now, Applewhite on the roll, under pressure. Cuts back, has some room. Hit hard at the 35, but carries his way down to the 34-yard line. William Barty may have gotten the wrong end of that deal.
Both quarterbacks are scramble to pass guys, meaning they don't want to scramble to run the football. Major Applewhite does not want to run this ball this time, but you know what? His team's down. He has to. He senses it. He sees something there. He goes for it, and he gets stuck. But that's a winning quarterback, and that's a winning play.
He took so many shots last week against Kansas State, and the 6 turnovers, certainly not all his fault, but he got up every time, didn't complain, didn't say a thing about his offensive line, and a tough kid. And surprisingly, we talked to him yesterday as they're just shy of the first down here. I think he is taller and bigger of stature than he's even listed at 6'1", and I think at least maybe 6'2".
Yeah, although he said he was 6 feet.
Yeah,
so he's somewhere in that range. But you know what? He weighs over 200 pounds. He's a 202-pounder. And look at what happened after the turnovers last week. All of these are points, folks. And that was too much off the turnovers from Major and the guys. He was black and blue and I guess had a bruise on his hip the size of a football.
Told us yesterday I was nothing. Absolutely fine now. Hodges Mitchell with a hole, and he's got the first down inside the 30 to the 28 before Rodney Rideau tripped him up again. Well, Mitchell, of course, whose father was a running back at Florida State and Mac Brown's roommate on the road, and he asked Mac, who was better? Tell me the truth now. And Mac said, you're a carbon copy. You look at one and you see the other. He wouldn't really go out on a limb and say either one was better.
Well, they do a lot of things the same way. They're both slashers, cutback type players, and they thrive in the open field.
67 yards on the afternoon so far for the junior out of Dallas. He's the lone setback now on 1st and 10 at the 29. Applewhite with time to his tight end. Drops it at the 5-yard line. Would have been a tough catch from Mike Jones. But he had it for a moment.
Well, Mike Jones is the guy that moved from defensive end. And he's going to bring it here, and Major's going to find him, but he doesn't have the speed of some of the receivers that they've had at tight end in the last few years. That's a perfectly thrown ball. They miss guys like Pat Fitzgerald and Lewis at tight end who have been stellar players at that position.
Both Jones and Chris Smith, his backup, converted defensive ends, and then the youngsters Stevens and Scaife, they're going to be good ones for the Longhorns, but it may take a while.
Longhorns going for the jugular now. Now they have it 2nd and 10.
Mitchell looks to cut back, bounces inside, gets away from another man, and inside the 25 to the 24. He did all of that on his own before Jeremy Wilson Guest, who is back in the lineup after having a back injury and kept out last week. He made the stop.
Jeremy Wilson Guest, 96 here, right in the middle of the action. Right in there, will make a play. And he's been out for a while, as you mentioned. He's a guy that Oklahoma really needed to have last week against Notre Dame. Second effort there by both the runner and the tackle.
It's a big defensive line when he's in there. He goes about 300 pounds. That's the senior. But 3rd and 5. Oklahoma showing blitz again. Going up top, Applewhite to the end zone. Incomplete. No chance to make the catch was Ryan Nunez.
All right, Oklahoma comes with Rocky Calmus 20 blitzing here. They've got man on man right out here. So you get in his face, and you also, actually that was William Barty on the blitz. I was confused, but it was still man-to-man on the outside. He got in Major Applewhite's face, and that caused the incompletion. Good defensive play there.
So here's Stockton on for another try. He's 1 out of 2 today. This one from 41 yards. Again, plenty of leg, and he splits the upright straight on through. So 2 out of 3 on the day is Chris Stockton, and he's been the man doing the damage for the Longhorns so far. 2 of his field goals, and it's 17-6. Take you back to 1973 in this series. Barry Switzer's first year as the head coach.
Joe Washington gets the pitch from Steve Davis. Tinker Owens wide open against Texas on that day, and the Sooners were rolling. The final would be 21-6, but on this play, the pass to Billy Brooks. It was amazing on that club. 2 All-American wide receivers and only like 25 passes completed that season. Barry Switzer goes on to a 10-0-1 record that year, 10-0 national championship the next year, and a national championship the following year.
For all of those years, it was just commonplace, and you're used to watching it. But imagine 25 passes in an entire season today.
That's wild. You know, Darrell Royal was coaching Texas at the end of that streak, and Darrell never beat Barry. But prior to that, Darrell Royal owned this series. It was amazing what he did in the 1960s, winning 3. They won 3 championships. Barry won 3, and Bud Wilkinson did earlier.
Yeah. Going back and forth through the decades, this series. At the 18-yard line, Jackson again as they kick away from Brandon Daniels out to the 32-yard line. An ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Ford Outfitters, no boundaries. Dell Computer, pioneering direct internet ideas for your business. Be direct. Dell. Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter. We measure success one investor at a time, and National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go.
Well, that's what Mike Leach is saying to his offense right now. First time under center, second quarter. They've been in shotgun the whole game.
Well, he may go back now.
I'd look for it to be a throw to the right.
So he comes back to shotgun now on 1st and 10 from the 31. They give it to Thornton to the 33. There's a flag on the play as Casey Hampton, the junior out of Galveston, Texas, makes the stop. Now our Aflac trivia question. It's a good one. Who is the Oklahoma starting quarterback in the OU Texas game 50 years ago?
And we wouldn't just throw that one out there at you unless there was some common denominator there to give you a hint. You know what? Not to be overlooked in this ball game, because I think it is a significant part of this game.
Holding on the offense. It'll be a 10-yard penalty and remain first down.
The Texas defensive front is one of the finest you will see in the country. 64 Casey Hampton, Sean Rogers 73 are a dynamic tandem. On the outside you've got Woodard and Humphrey, and you also have a young guy in Redding coming, but 64-73 can play football.
Humphrey with bruised ribs coming back off of that. 19 straight starts in his career until last week. 1st and 20. Heupel under center this time. Stays there. Daniel with flags down. Chased in the backfield by Woodard, and he's going to go down. A big loss back to the 12-yard line. This Texas defense has raised the level.
Yes, they have. The penalty. On Oklahoma again. So Texas does have Oklahoma playing on its heels. It's a totally different game than it was in the first quarter. And that was a great defensive play that time, staying home by Cedric Woodard.
So Casey Hampton saying we're going to decline it.
Illegal shift on the offense. The penalties decline. Second down.
So it's 2nd and 29 now.
So it's a chess match. Opening the game, Mike Leach, the offensive coordinator at Oklahoma, has the shifty moves. Now Carl Reese, the terrific defensive coordinator, adjusts. Now it's back in Mike Leach's hands.
Well, we'll see what Mike Leach comes up with for Josh Heupel right here. 2nd and 29. The shovel pass to Thornton. Brought down at the 15. Just couldn't get away from Greg Brown.
Oh, that's a great tackle there by free safety Greg Brown. And he's a guy that came from 3rd team to 1st. And this is a tackle in the open field. If you don't make this, Thornton's probably still running with that 5'5" frame of his. Little shuttle pass, Utah pass. And out of nowhere, Greg Brown, the free safety, makes this stick.
Greg Brown out of Baton Rouge Catholic High School, along with Major Applewhite. Guys like Travis Minor, Warwick Dunn. 3rd and 26. Straight drop, Heupel deep to the air. And picked off at the 49-yard line. Joe Walker coming back off the ankle injury. And a big play for the Texas defense. But not a bad idea if you're Heupel.
No, I was just about to say, I think that's a play that you probably don't mind, because it's a net 35-yard loss or gain, if you will. Oklahoma would have been forced to punt. Texas gets it at midfield, and you give your receiver a chance to catch it, although this is a terrific defensive play here. Joe Walker has made a couple of nice plays in this. This is one that's just a Hail Mary like at the end of the game.
So with 11:40 left until halftime, Heupel will go over and talk things over with his offensive coordinator, Mike Leach, and the Longhorns take over once again inside Oklahoma territory. Under pressure, Applewhite, the ball was loose and down, and flags on the ground now again.
That play just reminded me of backyard football. You know, when you're playing out in the backyard and the guy stands right over your center and you're hoping somebody blocks him and they don't.
It doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen that much in college that play you get away with it, but perhaps Oklahoma was offside. Nope. Mack hasn't been too happy with some of the calls early and was disgusted with the play of the Longhorns early, but has stabilized his crew.
Different thoughts.
Illegal touching by the offense. Penalties declined. Second down.
Much different on the other sideline.
Yeah, it is. Illegal touching. I wish I could tell you what that is. I'll have to find out later what that one is about. Could have been the pass. No, it could have been the pass hitting a lineman.
So it's 2nd and 10 at the 49. Backed up to the original line of scrimmage. Mitchell bounces away from one, gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe. Ryan Fisher, the junior out of Arlington, Texas, on the stop. First time we've called his name today.
The job for Ryan Fisher, 94 today, is to stay on his feet and control his gap. That time he clogged the middle. Perfect job assignment right there, and he executed it.
Look at the numbers so far for Major Applewhite. Not what he wanted, but Mitchell, 72 yards. And Flowers, the big catch of 37 yards. That's been the major play so far for Major and the Longhorns. Flushed out of the pocket, room to run. Applewhite to the 41-yard line, but has to get to the 39 of Oklahoma for the first down.
Well, Oklahoma goes with a dime package, 6 defensive backs. A nimble quarterback makes that, but neither of these quarterbacks today is going to pick up that first down on a 3rd down scramble. And Texas fans wanting them to go for it, but I think this is a wise decision here to punt it. You don't, you give Oklahoma the field position, and that's one of the reasons they've slowed Oklahoma, Terry, is they've had them backed up.
So Ryan Long will kick it away to Jarrell Jackson, who is back at his own 10-yard line. It's Stockton who's actually in there with this punt, but did Oklahoma call a timeout? They did. Got the timeout before the snap of the ball. So they'll talk things over, and Stockton will have to do this once again as he tries to get it down to the corner and out of bounds. 17-6. Oklahoma still with the lead, about to get the football. Hook 'em horns. 10:08 left. The cheerleaders for Texas. 17-6. Longhorns trail right now as Chris Stockton is on to punt. Jarrell Jackson back at his own 10-yard line. Stockton has got a couple of field goals already in this game. 2 for 3 on the afternoon. Jackson watches this one sail to the 1, and it bounces back to the 6-yard line and down right there. Well, you talked about the decision not to go for it, and certainly it was the right one.
Absolutely. And Stockton could have been a goat or a hero. If that goes in, it's from the 20-yard line. You're a goat, but
hey, Dean, how about next week? Ohio State and Penn State, the matchup. 2 top 20 clubs at State College. LeVar Arrington, one of the best in the nation, and the Nittany Lions trying to keep it rolling. Next Saturday at noon Eastern, 11 Central, right here on ABC Sports.
I had Ohio State last weekend. First half they were dynamite. Second half they didn't show up. They better show up to play Joe Paul.
Oh, 17-0 at one point, huh?
42-17, and it was over the other way.
1st and 10 from the 6. Heupel gives it off to his running back and stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Thornton stopped and may have lost one, in fact. Well, ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Chrysler. Engineered to be great cars. Nicorette gum, you can do it. Nicorette can help. Applebee's, you belong at Applebee's. And Budweiser, delivered fresh daily from our local brewery near you.
Texas has Oklahoma exactly where it wants it. Hoping that they run some because they can clog it up, but if not, that they can blitz and get a safety, an interception, or force a punt.
Heupel, the quick drop, 3-step drop over the middle. He's got Daniels complete, an important catch, and close to a first down before Ahmad Brooks could make the tackle.
That's a nice play by Oklahoma to get out of its hole, because you've got to do 3-step drop. You've got to do 3-step drop to get the ball out, because you don't want your quarterback to be tackled back there.
And the Sooners have not been able to run the football today. 4 rushes, minus 17 yards on the ground.
Terry, Sox. See the Sox trying to keep up with Brandon Daniels back there. you know, not being the official here, but everyone has to have uniform socks. And whether they're pulled up 6 inches.
There you go.
Yeah. Whether they're pulled up 6 inches or to your kneecap, if one guy has it, the rest of them have to have it. He'll be given, I'm surprised he hasn't been given the warning first, but they should warn him, and then if he doesn't change it, they should penalize him.
So even if you're styling, you got to have the socks on. 3rd and inches. Daniels just shy of the first down on that catch. Heupel keeps it over the left side, dives ahead, and it will have the first down. They'll move the chains.
That may be the longest run of his career.
One of the first, by design at least. The junior out of Aberdeen, South Dakota. Of course, he went to Weber State, then on to Snow Junior College. You know the story by now. A JUCO All-American, and a great find for this Oklahoma offense.
And who would have ever thought that Oklahoma would be lucky to get a kid out of Weber State and out of South Dakota, North Dakota as a throwing quarterback, and they're as happy as they can be to have it.
Great find for Mike Leach. That's who he spent the time with on his recruiting visit. Quick out. He's got his tight end, Trent Smith, and a nice gain out to the 27-yard line. Had to get to the 28 for the first down. Knocked out just shy by Lee Jackson.
Heupel's numbers. There you see his Division I total offense. These guys up here can throw it. Joe Hamilton really can as well, but Josh Heupel's numbers there, 329 a game. You know, he really had spectacular numbers before the 4th game at Notre Dame, where they applied a little more pressure to him. So he's in a system that fits his talents perfectly.
Setting records every game so far. Of course, the touchdown record set last week, the season touchdown record. Quick out, there goes Curtis Fagan. Nifty moves. Fagan out to the 44-yard line. Ball may have been loose, but they ruled it down. And Oklahoma will keep it. They'll move the chains. I'll tell you what, right in front of Mack Brown on the sideline, and they're saying, no, that ball was not down. The coaches are, at least. But the Sooners will keep it.
What happens on this play is that Heupel feels the pressure coming from right over here. He sees it. He senses it. He knows backside he's got a guy holding on. That's why Major Applewhite said last week that I love when they blitz. That's what Josh Heupel says, so you can exploit the defense.
Tough to tell whether or not the knee was down before the ball came out. 17 yards on the game. First down. Michael Thornton out to midfield, maybe just beyond. Thornton getting a lot of work early on. Greg Brown, the free safety, made the stop along with Aaron Humphrey.
Oh, Aaron Humphrey got him a haircut last night, didn't he? When we talked to him, that thing was, he was fresh from the barber, and the barber was himself.
It was MJ-like. That was so short. Gets it once a week on Friday before the game.
2nd and 4 from midfield. Thornton
with the speed to get outside, almost caught in the backfield, but he's got a Sooner first down before being knocked out at the 43. Ahmad Brooks, the sophomore corner out of Abilene, knocked him out there. J.J. Kelly almost had him in the backfield. Well, we gave you the Aflac trivia question a few moments ago. Who was the Oklahoma quarterback in the OU Texas game 50 years ago? Darrell Royal. How many out there got it?
Darrell Roy, one of the classiest men ever in college football, and a guy that the Texans just absolutely love, and he was the man most responsible for Mack Brown being the head coach.
A lot of twists and turns in these two head coaches and how they arrived in their respective positions. Ball on the turf, and I believe Heupel got it back. The Longhorns got it. Texas comes up with it. The fumble recovery, and Heupel can't believe it. With a second turnover of the afternoon.
Well, miscommunication from a couple of veteran players there. Oklahoma's center, Matt O'Neal, and Josh Heupel. You rarely see that. O'Neal's a senior who's been around, a smart, very good guy, a very good technician, and a very smart player. And I don't know if he thought perhaps Heupel was under center.
Looked like he thought he was under center, sure. P.D. Lewis, the man who came up with the fumble, though. So the Longhorns with 7:25 until halftime, trying to get things going. Tough running for Hodges Mitchell over the left side. Junior from Skyline High School here in Dallas. Number of players in the Dallas area involved in this one.
Well, Texas at 7:07 has a chance to get right back where they are in great position in this game. They need to take advantage of that turnover, because who would have thought after Oklahoma blitzed them early in the quarter they could be right where they are.
Composure and consistency, two of the things that Mack Brown has talked about his club needing. It is a young ball club. Rocky Kalmus showing blitz. Here he comes. Applewhite under pressure, gets away. Complete at the 40. Ryan Nunez, and driven back to the 30, actually the 42, but he'll get the forward progress to the 40-yard line and the first down. Pee-wee Woods on the stop.
Major Applewhite feels the pressure from 20. Kalmus coming right here. Kalmus slips. If he doesn't slip, he gets to him, and that gives Applewhite the time to find Nunez, whom he hits. Nice tackle, but the slip from Kalmus, the difference in that play.
And they do mark it back at the 42, but it is a first down for the Longhorns. Major changes to play at the line of scrimmage. Two receivers to the far side. A world of time, and Applewhite throws this one away.
Well, if that was a coverage sack, if I have ever seen one. Texas had no one open, and Major could still be back there if he wanted. He could have run the clock out.
Yeah, but they only had two receivers downfield, Dean, and that's the thing is, with all the DBs.
Maybe that's the reason they had all day. They did have max protection on, as Bob Stoops. You know, one of the reasons Oklahoma's defensive secondary is playing so well is he and his brother Mike were terrific players at Iowa. Bob knows that secondary well, and Mike does most of the coaching back there.
Mitchell in motion to the near. Sooners showing blitz again. Here they come. Quick throw. Cavill has it. He got a block. Turns it back. Inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. Mike Woods on the stop. If he doesn't get him, that's 6.
Risk-reward defense as we see here today. When the blitz comes, if you get the ball off, Oklahoma comes with 10, Torrance Marshall, and you're going to be looking out here to the side for number 9, Kwame Cavill. Applewhite feels the pressure, knows if he gets it to Kwame, he's the best answer for them in open field. He doesn't have the breakaway speed. That's why he doesn't go the distance. But again, great execution by the quarterback in Applewhite.
4th in Texas history in terms of receiving yards, 3rd in receptions. And the first down now inside the 20-yard line. Hodges Mitchell. Nothing going on. Stopped at the 20 by Barry Holloman. So it is 17-6. Oklahoma with 5:25 and counting here in the Cotton Bowl. What a brilliant image that is. Half burnt orange, half crimson and cream. Oklahoma and Texas, the 94th meeting in this Red River shootout. Terry Gannon, Dean Blevins on a gorgeous day here in Dallas. It was all Oklahoma to start the game, 17-0. A couple of field goals for Texas, and the momentum seems to have shifted back to Major Applewhite and the Longhorns. We'll see if they can capitalize here. Applewhite throws to the corner of the end zone, underthrown and incomplete.
That is the matchup that Texas wants. They don't really mind the matchup with Mike Woods, number 2, who's a terrific player, but they love this matchup right here with Pee-wee Woods. They get their physical, talented, best wide receiver in Kwame Cavill at 6'2", against a much smaller and picked on cornerback and 5'8.5" Pee-wee Woods.
Well, anytime you got a guy going 6'2" against a guy named Pee-wee, that's a pretty good matchup.
That was not Major's best throw.
So it's 3rd and 11. And this is a big play here before halftime. 2 of 7 on 3rd down conversion so far. Applewhite under pressure and can't get it to Cavill. Kalmus again with pressure on Applewhite.
Well, this is another feast or famine. It's either a touchdown or it's an incompletion. Oklahoma says we're going to put the pressure on you. And they came at Applewhite. He had to release it early. If he had gotten it to his man, watch Oklahoma bring 7 men, and they only have 6 to block. Pressure in the face. He didn't have time to find his favorite receiver, and Oklahoma wins that gamble.
So a 37-yard attempt for Chris Stockton, who is 2 for 3 on the day. Down, up, and good. And it's been all Chris Stockton so far for Texas. 3 field goals, but they're very much in this. 4:38 left until halftime. Smoking the cannon going off in the end zone. Devo doesn't look happy this afternoon, huh? 17-9. 3 field goals on the board, but Longhorns very much in this, and you sense that the defense has begun to figure out that Oklahoma offense just a bit.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a game with it being hot down there of which team might be in better shape and which team is deeper. Oklahoma believing that its strength coach is outstanding as well, and Jerry Schmidt, they think that they will not be beaten in the 4th quarter, although last week they lost to Notre Dame. And Jeff Madden, as you mentioned, does a terrific job at Texas. So I think we're in for a battle that's going to go down to the wire.
Look at Jarrell Jackson, Brandon Daniels now trying to disguise where each of them will be, because they have kicked away from Daniels. Of course, there's no secret now. They break apart, and
well, but they've already had to tell the kicking team which side they're going to kick it to if they don't go down the middle.
Yeah, they're going to squib it anyway, and right through the hands of one, picked up at the 25 and brought out to the 33-yard line. That's where the Sooners will start. Extracurriculars going on. Back in '84, the rain game in this series. Stephen Sewell, the 11-yard run in the 3rd quarter, 15-10 after Oklahoma missed the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, and then Texas stopped at the goal line on this 4th and inches. Oklahoma elects to take the safety, 15-2, and then Texas drives, gets the field goal at the end. A very controversial incomplete pass at the end of the game there.
Well, the 2 plays, the fumble that wasn't ruled a fumble, and then the interception that wasn't ruled an interception.
That's what Mac Brown said, at least, didn't he?
Depends on your point of view. Down goes Heupel, flag on the play, but that's Aaron Humphrey, who just drills Josh Heupel. A loss of 14, and no one blocked Humphrey at all.
There you see Aaron coming around. I don't know if he thought the whistle had been blown.
He must have. Stocker McDougal never moved.
What? That's the way you end your season real quickly.
Illegal formation on the offense. The penalties decline. 2nd down.
One of the things about being as diverse as Oklahoma is offensively, sometimes, I don't know how you say it, you get a little too cute for yourselves. Oklahoma is not catching on to everything they're trying to do. Mike Leach has done a terrific job as the new guy. He coached Tim Couch and helped him set records, although Couch could have done a lot of that probably on his own. But he's done a great job with this offense, but they're a little bit confused.
And it's basically that same offense that he's utilizing with Josh Heupel. 4 receivers set now. They spread it out. Antoine Savage buried at the 18-yard line. Roderick Babers, the freshman out of Houston.
Well, this is one of the 3 screens that Oklahoma comes into every game with. Texas knew it was coming, and they've been able to rack up some big yardage, the Sooners have this year, on that play. But you get great athletes out there in the right place, and that play sometimes is stopped just like that one.
Babers, the nickel back, getting a lot of playing time this afternoon against the passing offense. The Longhorn fans with something to stand and cheer about now. Penalty markers down again, and it's become a penalty flag fest.
Has to be on the offense.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense. It'll be a 5-yard penalty and remain 3rd down.
Well, games are won with aggression. And Oklahoma right now is not on the aggressive end of it. Penalties, they've had 7 already for 48 yards. And Oklahoma would like to get to the locker room, and Texas would like to hammer some more points on the board.
Texas with 4 penalties this afternoon. Now the Sooners would love to see this 3:11 and counting go quickly off the clock. Heupel over the middle. Underthrows Savage. There's a penalty marker again in the backfield.
I think it's going to be a holding call. It's either a it's a holding call against Oklahoma. Texas might just shove them on back and let them do it again, because they haven't shown they can do much offensively here of late. That's what I would do.
A 4th down upcoming, but we'll see what they decide.
Holding on the offense. The penalties decline. 4th down.
like to stick them on back 7.5 more yards, get them back there where they're in their end zone punting. But that's why I'm up here, and Carl Reese was the assistant coach of the year here a couple of years ago.
4th and 28. So there's Courtney Garcia, the redshirt freshman, standing at his own 45-yard line. See if they put pressure on Jeff Ferguson. Gets it away easily, and this is a good one. Garcia back to the 38, backpedaling. Penalty markers down again as Garcia brings it to the 48 of Oklahoma.
Penalties are in the air as much as the pigskin.
The 47-yard punt. Garcia brought it back 12, but they're going to change that one way or another.
I believe this one will go against Texas.
Randy Crystal, the referee today.
Give credit to the Texas defense, though, for the turnaround in this game. They have forced Oklahoma to do some things that it is not ready to do.
Personal foul on the return team, tripping. Be a 15-yard penalty and a 1st and 10.
Well, penalties and turnovers, two of the things that Mack Brown has talked about week in, week out with his young club. Of course, it began the first game against NC State, the 3 block punts, which really cost them the game.
Shouldn't be that big a factor. Texas doesn't like to give up the yardage, but with 2:54 and the momentum, even though they haven't put it in the end zone, they've got to feel pretty good right now.
2-minute offense now. Major Applewhite with 2:54 left until halftime. Out of the shotgun, here come the Sooners again. Quick throw. This one's batted down again.
Oklahoma wins this battle again. Oklahoma comes with 20. Kalmus. And remember, besides the blitz right here, they're going to try to get their arms up, get their hands up, and bat this ball down. So they get the blitz pressure, hand goes up. And so in both cases, the defense wins.
It was Marshall who got his hand on it, but that was the pressure you saw from Rocky Kalmus. Major Applewhite, 6 out of 22 so far here in the first half for 81 yards. Quick out to Nunez. Right through his hands. He may have taken his eyes off of it.
Texas has to account for 20. I mean, Rocky Kalmus is having a big day. Applewhite was apple blue and black last weekend, and he's going to be that way again if they don't pick this guy up. The only other thing, sometimes when you don't have enough blockers, if you have 5 blockers to block 6 rushers or 6 blockers and 7 guys coming, the quarterback has to get it off, and he's going to get hammered.
Kalmus, the high school defensive player of the year in Jenks High School, just outside of Tulsa.
Heck of a player, offensively and defensively.
3rd and 10. Applewhite, the quick throw over the middle. They're still fighting over it. And they're going to call it a reception.
Controversial call here.
They're going to call it a catch, even though Mike Woods eventually came up with it. But that, of course, when both are in possession, it goes to the offense.
Exactly. That's the critical, that's the deciding vote, if you will. That's what, on a play like this, that's what it goes down to, because both players claim they have the ball. I think that's a good call because Oklahoma, feeling it had it, did not clearly have the interception, so that has to go to the offense. Not that important in the sense that Texas punts. You lose field position if you're Oklahoma.
So Ryan Long now back in to punt, and this, well, that's a huge punt all the way down to the 13-yard line.
And they're wondering why he didn't kick it out of bounds like that in the last game, you know, and that's a beautiful kick there.
44 yards on the punt, remember? Valvoline halftime 99 coming up in just a minute 55 seconds. John Saunders, Terry Bowden. Scores and highlights from around the country. The Heisman race, of course, an issue this week. Peter Warrick, an issue every week, but
Yeah.
a different type of issue this week. Peter Warrick of Florida State suspended and maybe gone for a long time.
Well, later I'll pop up how I see this Heisman race right now. It's back as a legitimate race. Hey, does Oklahoma run out the clock? What do you do if you're Oklahoma?
Well, they've lost yardage on the day running the football. That's the only problem. They give it inside. Thornton scampers up to the 12. Aaron Humphrey has been active the last couple of minutes.
Well, he's active all day, and there's your answer to my question.
Yeah.
Oklahoma would like to, like I said about 10 minutes ago, they'd like to get to the locker room, and Texas is going to try to stop them and use their timeouts.
Oklahoma with 1 timeout. Texas with 3 timeouts right now. Full complement. The numbers so far, Dean?
Well, Heupel's percentage is absolutely terrific. All of his numbers. And that interception right there is, remember, that was one that was effectively the same as a 35-yard punt.
Right.
But Texas, with the fact that, you know, they didn't get that type of production out of their quarterback, yet they changed the momentum of this game, and they have to like their position going into the locker room, even if it stays at 17-9.
The Horns burn a timeout, so they have 2 left. Now the 2 air attacks. Texas and, of course, Oklahoma, number 3 in the nation, number 15 in the nation.
What was the stat we were looking up today? Since 1950, only 5 Oklahoma teams have completed as many passes that year as this bunch has through 4 games.
Yeah, all season long.
Yeah,
exactly.
Only 5 from 1950. But back to this, Terry, with the timeouts that Texas has remaining, they can clearly force the punt and have enough time to respond.
Heupel, by the way, great numbers in the first quarter. 11 out of 14, 181 yards. 5 for 7 in the second quarter, but only 36 yards. So the defense figuring out that offense of Oklahoma. On the run, penalty marker down. Heupel throws, complete. Fagan again at the 32. Curtis Fagan's had a huge game so far. The redshirt freshman. We'll see what the marker is about, though. Probably going to bring it back.
Aaron Humphrey sure believes that's what's going to happen, and it is a big call. That's one of those that means points.
Well, Bob doesn't like it one bit. We've had 13 penalties that have been accepted so far in this game. They've got 1:41 until halftime, and Oklahoma just trying to do anything they can do to get into that locker room.
Well, and I say that is a call that could be worth points, meaning that Oklahoma would have had it up in the 35-yard line range, and then you go on the attack with 1:41 to go. They've shown that they can hurt you quickly, but now you back it up.
Holding on the offense, half the distance to the goal, replay second down.
Your playbook, if you're Mike Leach and the offensive coordinator at Oklahoma, is much thinner back there where they are now under these conditions than it would be at the 35.
But if you run it a couple times now, Texas has got the 2 timeouts, as you mentioned. So 1:41, and they can stop the clock and get it back.
If they throw it, it'll be a quick throw, I presume. They trust Heupel because he's such a smart veteran.
Out of his own end zone. Josh Norman the catch at about the 13-yard line. The roommate of
Texas
Josh Heupel.
Pardon me, but Texas should stop that clock. They wasted, I don't know, 6 or 7 seconds there.
They finally do get the timeout. So they're down to their final timeout is Texas.
You know, this is just, even though they're throwing it all over the lot, this is a typical Oklahoma-Texas game in that there is a lot of emotions. There are a lot of big plays. And after a half of the game, the players will feel spent, the fans will feel spent, and the announcers are spent.
Well, what was the phrase? Rawhide intensity, rawhide bitterness in this. And that is just talking about the fans at this point. I mean, all week long, we've been here a few days in town, and everywhere you go, that's not only what people talk about, but what they wear on their sleeves, literally. See burnt orange and crimson throughout Dallas during the week. And you look at the coaches in this series and who has dominated, and certainly it's been back and forth in terms of the decades, Dean?
Well, I think there have been 3 primary coaches that have stood for this series. When you think of Oklahoma, Texas, and you go way back to the 50s, Bud Wilkinson was a fabulous coach. He won him 3 titles in 50, 55, 56. Darrell Royal comes in, and in the 60s wins 2 national championships. They come back both in 69 and then 70 wins another, but he dominated the 60s. And then Barry came in the 70s winning 2 championships then and another, of course, in 85.
Yeah, they all won 3, but in that decade that we're talking about, 2 for the last 2. There's Heupel under pressure, throws, complete at the 20, but a nice tackle made there. Irvis Hill making sure that Damian Mackey went down right away. And the final timeout now, I believe, was just used up by the Longhorns.
Did you notice that they didn't let a half second go off after that completion to call the timeout? That 6-second delay was... They didn't let that time waste.
Well, did you look at Bob Stoops on the sideline? You know, we just saw the decade dominance in some of the biggest names in college football history, not just the history between these two, but really 2 head coaches today have so much in common in terms of their background and how they arrived at both of their positions.
Well, they do, and it's very interesting. Mack Brown right here could very easily be on the Oklahoma sideline, and Bob Stoops, in some cases, you could build a case that he could be on the Texas sideline. Now, Mack Brown was offered the Oklahoma job before Howard Schnellenberger was in for that brief fiasco. And Mack Brown, I think he had a keen interest in it, but for some reasons he did not take that job. And of course he does a great job at North Carolina and ends up coming to Texas. Well, had he not had the second man on the list behind Mack Brown when they named a coach in some of the committee members' eyes was none other than Bob Stoops.
So on 4th and 2, Jeff Ferguson ready to punt. Garcia back at his 36, but watch him up front. Here come the Longhorns. Just did get it away. Courtney Garcia watches it take a Texas bounce.
Now that was very close to being blocked.
Just got it away, which would have been a huge turnaround here at the end of the first. But Major Applewhite will have a minute 18 to go, almost 60 yards, and try to get to the end zone. 17-9, Oklahoma with the lead here late in the first half.
Oklahoma's philosophy at this point will be to give up the yards in the middle of the field and don't give up points. And it's worked pretty well today. That's their overall philosophy. They're stingy down in the red zone. And that might be what you see here. Texas would love to get more than 3 this time.
Well, the shotgun is Applewhite now. See if the Major can direct them down the football field. We're here in the last minute 18 of the first. Looks back, throws across, complete at the 43-yard line. The catch made by Hodges Mitchell out of the backfield. Rocky Kalmus on the stop, but another penalty marker is down.
Well, this is going to be either on Ante Jones, the 11 White there, or 9 Kwame Cavill. And those guys are getting all after each other. Kwame Cavill telling me last night that he doesn't even wear a mouthpiece because he talks all the time that he's on the field, and there's a good example of it. Says he lines up against his defender, and he looks him in the eye. And he says, that way I know if they're confident or they're afraid. And this one goes Kwame's way.
Don't think he won't remind him, too. Which, by the way, is another rule. You must wear a mouthpiece.
Yes.
Holding
you're playing.
on the defense. The holding occurred on an eligible receiver. Therefore, it's an automatic first down.
Nice to get the explanation, too. Automatic first down. And they'll move it up near midfield. They place it down at the 49. So a minute 13. You look at Kwame Cavill, the #1 receiver in the Big 12.
You can see him there looking in the eyes of his defender.
Major with time, near side. Jones with a catch inside the 20, down to the 11. Jeremy Jones hauled it in. Mike Woods on the coverage, man for man. That's the best coverman for the Sooners, yet he beat him. Stop the clock, they move the chains, they rush down.
now absolutely plenty of time for Texas to do what it wants. And, you know, Jeremy Jones has become a really fine deep threat for Texas.
Brent Venables, the defensive coordinator, calls the last time out for the Sooners here to regroup, Dean.
Texas momentum is clear at this point, but he beat Oklahoma's finest cornerback, as you mentioned, Mike Woods. And Jeremy Jones, we'll take a look at it again, number 19, as you'll see it from the defense's perspective. See Applewhite look right. He knows backside. He's got one-on-one, and he knows when he looks back. If you're a quarterback and you look backside, you know where you're going, and you see your man has him by a yard, your eyes get as big as pancakes. And that was an excellent throw after a tough half for Major Applewhite to put him in position to score a touchdown.
Look at the Major trying to get the troops up and set as soon as they get those chains moving. So Texas with a great opportunity here late in the first half in a game that was dominated by Oklahoma in the first quarter. 17 quick points on the board for the Sooners. But Texas, really off the strength of their defense, has turned this around. Flowers and Cavill to the far side. Nunez and Jones to the near side. 4 receiver set. Applewhite out of the shotgun, along with Hodges Mitchell, the lone setback. Plenty of time to the end zone. Nunez holds it in. Just kept his feet in. The Longhorns right back with a strike before the halftime. You go for 2 here now, Dean?
If I'm Texas, I do go for 2 here. You get a chance to tie this ball game. You've got all the momentum in the world. You can go in if you're Mack Brown and say, guys, we can't play any worse than we did in the first quarter, and Oklahoma can't play any better, and it's 0-0 on the scoreboard. And for Oklahoma, if they stop them, they at least can go in with the momentum of having the lead.
Little momentum that way. So a big play here coming up on the 2-point conversion try. Cavill in motion. Major looks back. Nunez a little bit behind him, but he makes the catch to the end zone. And we are tied at 17. Well, it was 17-0 Sooners. Those 17 unanswered points from the Longhorns. You talked about swings and momentum.
Well, here's the touchdown pass, and it's a beautiful pass that didn't have but about 6 inches of room to work as Nunez beats his man by a yard. Major knows over the top, gets some air under it, and just enough. That's an outstanding throwing catch.
17 straight games now. Major Applewhite has thrown a touchdown pass.
Major's feeling really good at this point. He goes for the 2, knowing that he's got that. If he can find a little seam there and zip it in, he knew he had that one. And in this type of game, it is a game of precision, a game of inches.
So Ryan Nunez, you actually got all over his offensive line in the media this week about some of the things that happened in the game last week against Kansas State, just trying to fire them up. And certainly in this second quarter, they've turned it around.
Well, he might keep in mind that that offensive line goes 6'6", 325, 6'5", 315, 6'6", 339, and there's your scoring drive.
Yeah, and Ryan's about 5'9", 185 pounds, soaking wet.
Wow, what a half.
And you still have 49 seconds before halftime. So you got Brandon Daniels and Jarrell Jackson back deep. You know how dangerous Daniels is. They've kicked away from him since the opening kickoff, and down Jackson goes. Hit hard at the 25-yard line. Corey Redding just came flying in. They call it putting a hat on someone, and he did it with a lot of momentum.
Well, he busts through the Oklahoma coverage here. That's basically a bust. It's the same as an offensive or defensive busted assignment. Special teams are 25% of the play, and that's a bust. So that's a great defensive play.
What do you do now, though? You've got 45 seconds. If you're Oklahoma now, it's a different situation.
I don't think you run the ball and just duck, put the tail between the legs and go in. I think this place goes wild, and you're clearly on the bottom side of the momentum. I think you do something and make sure you don't turn it over. Oh, my God.
They go to a knee.
Well, that clearly says that Bob Stoops believes that he can talk his guys up. He can let them know that even though they do down it here, that, hey, guys, regroup and you're okay. The one thing that he has done, Terry, that has really been surprising to me is that his players just believed him from the first day. That wasn't the case because they've been told the same thing by 2 or 3 previous coaches, 2 really.
Of course, Hayden Fry and Bill Snyder at Kansas State and Steve Spurrier influences on his life, and you come in having worked for those gentlemen, as well as his father, did a big influence on him, and your players do believe in you. So the final seconds of the first half, and Josh Heupel, who started the game brilliantly, but it was Major Applewhite and the Texas defense really that started to turn this thing around. 17 straight for the Sooners, 17 straight for the Longhorns. We are deadlocked at 17. Back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
But does he let go of the ball a little early? Let's take a look at this one more time. Oklahoma scores in 2 plays, but here's a freshman at about the 1.5-yard line. He just flips it back. I bet Bob Stoops and company talked to him about that. But Oklahoma gets off to a great start, 17-0. But back come the Longhorns, and Major Applewhite made some great throws late. Nunez here on one that ties it, Terry, at 17.
They went for 2 and got the 2-point conversion. So that's how we've arrived at 17-17. You look at the Morgan Stanley Dean Witter first half stats.
Well, passing yards, Oklahoma has the advantage, but overall, Texas comes in here with that. And then turnovers right here. And the other thing that got me was the field position in the second quarter was the most significant statistic in giving Texas some momentum in their comeback. So Oklahoma, it'll be interesting to see if Bob Stoops can get his guys back up, because Texas clearly had the momentum at the end of the first half.
Remember, Major Applewhite, 293 yards a year ago, the most ever in this series. And right now, Josh Heupel with 231. That's a record that should be broken today. The Sooners kick off to start the second half. Victor Ike back at his own goal line. Got a lane, still up, and finally brought down at the 26. And appropriately enough, we start the second half with a penalty marker down. First half possessions for the Longhorns, Dean.
Well, you see where they started from. First of all, it wasn't too good early, but then they get it almost midfield. You know, that's a great place to begin. And when you do that, you have chances of field goal, and a touchdown.
Been an active day for Randy Crystal. Get the call on this one.
During the run, holding. The 10-yard penalty, 1st and 10.
It's the 15th penalty of the game between the two teams.
Well, Mack Brown can't be happy, but I know Bob Stoops would be livid over what happened with Oklahoma in the first half. He took over this year inheriting a club that averaged over 10, almost 11 penalties a game, and he chopped it down in half, but then they've already doubled that today.
Talked about the possessions, where Texas started from in the first half. They start their own 16 in trouble. They're going to lose a few. Down at the 11, Rocky Kalmus was in the backfield throughout the entire first half. He is once again to bring down Hodges Mitchell.
Well, Kalmus had a big first half, and he'll have to have a big second half if Oklahoma's going to be able to shut these guys down. And this is one where he does get through and blitz once again and hangs on for dear life.
He told us he was excited, though, because for the first time in a long time, he's not the smallest tailback on the field today. You got Michael Thornton at 5'5", maybe, and 187 pounds. Second down, Applewhite throws, got a man open at the 24. Nice throw. Montrell Flowers with the catch right in front of Mike Woods.
Sound like a broken record, but folks, it's really simple what's happening right now. These teams are coming at each other, and if the quarterback can make the throw, right now Torrance Marshall in his face, gets picked up at the last minute, and Major's able to drop it off in front of pretty good coverage that Oklahoma had on there. But
Texas has not shied away from Mike Woods, even though he's one of the best man-to-man secondary men around. 3rd and 2 on this opening drive of the second half. Applewhite with time, and he's usually great when he has it. Nice catch, too. Kwame Cavill makes the catch for the first down at the 30-yard line.
Kwame talking some noise, and his team is playing well enough that he feels he can. And you know what he does on this play is he realizes it's only 3rd and short. So instead of trying to have yards after the catch, he says, nope, I'm going to catch this one and not worry about anything else. Nice concentration by 9, Kwame Cavill.
4th catch of the afternoon for Cavill, who had 7 catches for 103 yards last week.
I asked him yesterday about the Oklahoma cornerbacks in secondary. Do they look any better? He says, nope, same guys. They look the same to me.
You gotta like the honesty.
Yep.
Caught behind the line of scrimmage is Victor Ike. Ryan Fisher wrapped him up. There's another marker.
Thrown in the area where offensive holding is generally the call.
What happened to crimson and burnt orange? Yellow, the favorite color out here today. Brent Venables, is that Kansas State, of course.
Brent is the co-defensive coordinator at Oklahoma with Bob Stoops' brother Mike, a guy that is full of energy. I mean, he could play about 3 of these games in one day.
Holding on the offense. It'll be a 10-yard penalty and remain first down.
Brent looks like he could go out there and play right now, as a matter of fact. Both of these coordinators active. So it backs him up, though, to the 20-yard line. And by the way, Kwame Cavill is moving to 3rd place on the all-time list in Texas history. He's got over 1,700 yards now. So it's 1st and 20 as you look at Cavill to the near side. 4 receivers set for the Longhorns. Sooners showing blitz. Here they come under pressure. Complete. Jones has it, but down at the 20. He is just popped. Drilled by Roy Williams, the redshirt freshman.
Well, now they go in at halftime and they get water, and then they get screamed at a little bit, and then they make adjustments. Now, this last part is what you saw as a result of adjustments. Roy Williams in the face of the receiver who comes underneath in the first half. That was a play that really hurt Oklahoma.
Jeremy Jones going to go get some more water. Don't know about the screaming part or the adjustments. He needs a break. A warm afternoon here in Dallas. That's redundant, though, I guess. Low 80s, high humidity. 2nd and 20. Here come the Sooners again after Applewhite. Quick throw, and it's almost picked off. It should have been. Through the hands of Mike Woods, who read it perfectly.
Blitz, 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 and then blitz a little bit more. Oklahoma's not as much a blitz team as they've been in the past, but they get pressure on Applewhite. And Mike Woods makes a break here on the ball and has a chance to catch that one. It's a good defensive play, but he had a chance to go the distance. And Major Applewhite complaining to the official after the play, and it must have been about a late hit, which was questionable at best.
3 of 10 on 3rd down so far. And when you got 3rd and 20, you can't expect to get 4 out of 11. But Applewhite trying right here. Up top, the sideline. Got a man who has a step and caught. Flowers out of bounds. They'll move the chains. Speed on speed with Flowers and Woods.
Now I'm telling you, this is when Texas has to really feel good. When you get a 1st and 20, you convert it. A 3rd down, you're going backside against Oklahoma's best corner. Pretty well covered. But when you get your number 2 to beat Oklahoma's number 2 and convert a 1st and 20, things are going your way.
27 yards on the catch. We saw 1-on-1 earlier in a big play, and now 2-on-2. So it's 1st down at the 47 now. Cavill in motion. Going to give it to the tailback, Victor Ike, busting through. He almost broke it. To the 45 of Oklahoma, had one man who tripped him up. That was it. Pee Wee Woods, Rodney Rideau. And down is Victor Ike, the redshirt freshman out of Austin.
Holding a hamstring, as a lot of sprinters do.
So they'll work on Victor Ike while we have a moment. We'll take it to John Saunders in New York. John?
Terry, Purdue and Ohio State. Michael Wiley had some classroom problems this week, so he didn't start this game. When he gets in, he takes a handoff, tosses 7 yards to Darnell Sanders for the touchdown. John Cooper appreciates it. For more, go to the Bowl Championship Series online at ESPN.com, a part of the Go Network.
All right, John, thank you. Back here in Dallas, 17 all.
Mark down that conversion back there when Major Applewhite hits Flowers for the conversion, okay? Let's remember that play. That may be a significant play in the scheme of this game.
Flowers with a 37-yard catch earlier in the game, as you saw Victor Ike being carried off the field. Hodges Mitchell back in for Ike across the 40 to the 39. So another first down for the Longhorns as they establish a drive here in the opening moments of the second half. 11:26 left in the third. Dallas, Texas, for the 54th consecutive time the Cotton Bowl sold out for the Red River Classic. Terry Gannon, Dean Blevins, a gorgeous afternoon here in Dallas. And you get the feeling that this one is just beginning to heat up. Major Applewhite, straight drop, got a man wide open. Hodges Mitchell's the tailback. Finally out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Another first down for the Longhorns. Mike Woods ran him out. Mitchell out of the backfield, and now the Horns got the offense going.
Well, that's a bust by Oklahoma. Major Applewhite bright enough to pick it up. They clear the left side. Woods late coming over. Nice way of taking advantage of a mistake by Oklahoma. That's another way that Major Applewhite beats you.
18 yards on the gain. Hodges Mitchell, little rest on the sideline. Actually back in there right now. You got Victor Ike on the sideline being worked on a moment ago. Remember, he got injured. So it's 1st and 10 at the 21. Mitchell straight through. Gonna get to the end zone. Hodges Mitchell. Touchdown, Texas. "21 yards to pay dirt." Goes Mitchell, the 5'7", 190-pounder, a junior out of Dallas.
When offenses spread the field and defenses bunch up and blitz, there's not many people back there if the back breaks through the line of scrimmage. Specifically, there's one man, and he didn't even touch Hodges Mitchell.
So Stockton on for the extra point. Up and good. Mitchell with 114 yards already on the afternoon, and we have just begun playing the second half. 21 yards right past Rodney Rideau. The one move and the speed of Mitchell to the end zone. The Longhorns taking control now. The State Fairgrounds here in Dallas. Big Tex, who first appeared in 1952. Get this, the world's only 52-foot-tall waving cowboy. As if you would find one anywhere else.
You stayed up late doing homework on Tex.
Size 70 shoes, cowboy boots, actually.
Hey, the little guy here, Mitchell, you know, I guess he's quit eating that dessert he ate every day, the banana rumba that had him 12 pounds overweight. He's lost the 12, and he's looking pretty good, isn't he? That's what he said. Every day he had a banana rumba.
He's tough to give that up, you know. You find a banana rumba you like, you stick with it. He's down to about 185 pounds now, he says. He's even lower than the 190 they list him at. 24-17, Texas with the short pooch kick. It's Daniels, though, at his own 15, trying to break out. He's got a seam again. Daniels to the near sideline. Is this guy something else or what? Across midfield to the 47-yard line. There is a flag on the play.
Oklahoma right here blitzing. They've got a safety back here in Rideau, but when they make it past the front wall, great job of blocking up front by Leonard Davis and company. Now there's one player to get him. No, Rideau's not going to get him after he drops those banana rumbas. And who's the penalty on?
Penalties decline. 1st and 10.
So the offsides, they decline it, but Brandon Daniels bringing it back 39 yards. They've kept it away from him since the beginning of the game. He had one return for, 37 yards to start the game, and a little pooch kick, and he brings it back.
Mac Brown's one of my favorite coaches, but last week, and I know he didn't want his guy to do it, but they kicked to David Allen and he beat him. This week, Brandon Daniels, I don't ever kick it to Brandon Daniels. Whatever you do, don't kick it to Brandon Daniels.
Michael Thornton coming to the near side, and he's got room. knocked out at the 35. And now the Oklahoma offense taking control here. This is what they did in the first half.
Well, started off hot. Quick touchdown. You remember the sack that Heupel gave up. We'll see if that comes back to haunt them. Then they get the touchdown there. But after that, everything goes south as momentum goes Texas's way. They made the defensive adjustments. Now, speaking of adjustments, Oklahoma's first snap in the third quarter rather, is a run. They effectively block it, so obviously they saw something at halftime.
Good block by Seth Luttrell, the fullback. First time in a while we've seen a two-back set. They had negative yardage in the first half running the football. Out of the shotgun now. Heupel with time. Guns it out. No one there. Jackson the closest receiver, but he had yet to make his break.
Really impressed with what Texas has done defensively. In the first part of the ball game, Oklahoma was wide open. I mean, the defenders were completely out of the plays. They had no pass rush on Heupel. And right now it's just the opposite. You see the Oklahoma receivers pointing at one another, wondering where they're supposed to go, and Texas sitting back in a combination man with a little zone and playing well.
231 yards in the first half. He's yet to complete a pass here. They ran for a first down on the one successful play in the second half, and what a catch. The diving catch made by the freshman Antoine Savage.
Well, you won't see a better college throw than that. And the catch was sensational, too. We'll see the catch as Antoine Savage out of his break. The ball is in the air well before he makes his break. Brooks in good position, Terry, but that was one fabulous throw.
Savage with a 44-yard touchdown catch to begin the game. The second play from scrimmage as this one opened up. First and 10 at the 15. Four-receiver set. Heupel wants to change it. Long count. He's going to give it to Thornton. Ahead for about 2. And brought down by Greg Brown, along with DeAndre Lewis.
Terry, one of the things at this time of the game that, well, at any time of the game, when you go the direction Oklahoma's going, you see a sea of orange. It's like you're on the opposing field when you're going that direction. That is a factor, trust me.
The burnt orange at one end, the crimson and cream at the other end.
Blitz.
Here they come. He got it off. Jackson with the catch, but wrapped up by Irvis Hill. A nice play at the 12-yard line. They have to get all the way down to the 5 for a first down.
Defense has to work in sync. They, like an offense, they have to find their own rhythm. And right here you see the blitz coming. Heupel gets rid of it to his favorite receiver, Jackson. But look at Irvis Hill. Nice stick, nice reaction. If he gives him 2 yards on that, Terry, could be a touchdown.
He's gone. Hill's been starting lately for the injured Joe Walker.
Huge play.
3rd and 6 from the 11. Here come the Longhorns again on the blitz. Picked up, thrown, and through the hands of the tight end, Chris Hammonds.
That was some great defense right there. Hammonds was wanting to call for interference. I think he knows better.
Babers with the hand, though, all over the arm.
We might have to take another look at that.
I think he may have had the hand in there on the arm of Hammonds.
Babers, a terrific prospect. See if the hand comes in. Right there, that is pass interference and a bad call.
Duncan as they place it down at the 17.
That's a call that might cost Oklahoma 4 points.
They call it a 28-yarder, actually. So Duncan converts the 3, though, and we'll revisit that play, which was not called, in a moment. 24-20, Texas.
Close call as we left you a moment ago. See if interference from Babers over the top here. Is there contact before the ball? Stop right there. There is contact. Clearly, the ball is not there. There's space right there. Bad call. It would have been, could end up being a 4-point play in Texas's favor there. Calls go either way. You know, in the course of a game, there will be 5 or 6 calls. 2 or 3 will go your way, and 2 or 3 will go the other way. That one was a point cost.
As it was 3 on the board, so it's 24-20 now. Texas with the lead as they bring it back out. Montrell Flowers returns it out to the 19-yard line, and let's join John Saunders again in New York.
Time now for the Burger King play of the day. Purdue against Ohio State. Drew Brees, great passer, right? Watch the quarterback come out of the backfield. Wait for the pass from Vinny Sutherland. Just stay in bound. Peeked himself out there. Takes it in for a touchdown. 17-13. That's your Burger King play of the day.
So the Buckeyes with the lead. Drew Brees on the receiving end of a touchdown pass.
Drew Brees, we're going to see my Heisman stuff before this day is over. I've got Drew up there pretty high. These 2 weeks are very critical in his chase for the Heisman. I think he's chasing a little guy down in Atlanta myself.
I like Joe Hamilton myself. So it's 1st and 10 for the Longhorns. They start at their own 20-yard line. Play action. Applewhite hit as he threw the ball and overthrows the intended receiver. Here comes the penalty marker now. Mike Woods was the cover man. So the call does not go the way of Oklahoma moments ago on the interference. They go against the Sooners here.
One of Bob Stoops' positive characteristics is he's a real straight shooter, real stand-up guy. He's standing up right in front of that play, and I think he's letting the official know what he thinks of that. I guess what I'm saying is a lot of coaches would gripe about any call. I think Stoops is one of those coaches, and Mac Brown. I don't think Mac gripes about calls that aren't legitimate.
Pass interference on the defense. The foul occurred more than 15 yards from the previous spot. It'll be a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
All right, another close call in the Oklahoma-Texas game. Is there? I think we picked that up late. It looked like a Nunez pitch off, but I don't think that. I think that perhaps the controversy was prior to that.
Oklahoma with 23 penalties all year coming in, 10 this afternoon. Hodges Mitchell bouncing his way and fighting his way up to the 39-yard line.
Oklahoma's got to have better play defensively from a couple of guys that have disappointed them this season. 87, Cornelius Burton is a defensive end that hadn't done a whole lot for Oklahoma this season. 92, Corey Callens is a terrific player. They'd like to bring him down from defensive end to defensive tackle. But this guy right here, you get a guy like that coming off the bus. He's the all-world bus guy, all-century bus team. 6'6", 280, runs 4'8", needs to make plays.
Not played on the bus, though, huh? 2nd and 7. In motion is Cavill. Mitchell has a seam to the outside. The speed of Hodges Mitchell turning the corner and into Oklahoma territory before he's run out by Mike Woods. And they'll move the chains. By the way, Victor Ike out with a hamstring. He's questionable in terms of his return.
Here is what Texas will try to do. Give some room to Hodges Mitchell. That's Burton that I tried to circle there, 87. Play goes inside, and Texas has momentum, and Oklahoma's trying to remember the last time they stopped Texas. It seemed like about a week ago, didn't it, Terry?
Long time ago was that first quarter. Hodges Mitchell, 113 yards. So 3 of the last 4 games he's gone over the century mark. Did not do it against Kansas State last week. Applewhite, straight drop, hit, no one home. Well, he had a man down there, but he just couldn't get the ball off. He was hit right as he threw it. Brandon Moore was in his face.
Well, when you blitz, you like to get to the quarterback within 2 seconds. Any time the quarterback has over 2 seconds, he's buying some time on most of today's routes. That one was right on the edge.
Big 12 freshman of the year. Broke a lot of records. The freshman records here at Texas. 203 yards today and a touchdown. Quick throw, flanker screen. Cavill his favorite target, and he may be gone. Kwame Cavill, one man to beat. Forget about it. 48 yards. Cavill to the end zone. Catches for 85 yards for Cavill, the leading receiver in the Big 12. And Major Applewhite strikes again.
That play was executed exactly the way you draw it up on the bulletin board, and they even had a blitz going their way.
Stockton on the extra point. All right. Booms it home. So the streak of unanswered points interrupted by the Sooners, but Texas comes right back with a strike to Cavill. 31-20, the Longhorns taking control.
Perfect play call here for Texas against this defense, and perfect execution. They're going to get a block out right here on a slip screen. Roll the video as Oklahoma comes at Major Applewhite underneath to Kwame Cavill and stop it right there. He's going to have a lane right there because they got the block here. Lineman downfield. Look at the lineman out front. If you like Texas, you love that play.
He had almost the entire line out ahead of him. 10 yards.
That's the way it's drawn up. Yeah.
4 plays, 80 yards, a minute 14. Almost half of the drives today by Texas, 5 plays or less.
Texas offensively has just done a great job of maintaining its poise, sticking to its game plan. And right now, Oklahoma not having the killer instinct earlier in the game, which it didn't have last week. Their backs are to the wall, needing the offense to get touchdowns, not field goals, and its defense has to step up.
So an 11-point lead for the Longhorns. 7:35 left in the third as Stockton hits the line drive towards the corner. It's Jackson who's going to field this one. Bring it back from his own 4. He's got a lane, and across the 30 to the 33. The Sooners doing the damage on the kick returns. Well, take it back to 96. The matchup, first quarter, the block punt. Texas jumping out to a 10-0 lead in this one. But then it went to overtime. James Allen with the 2-yard touchdown run. It was the Sooners who would win that matchup 30-27. And by the way, Jarrell Jackson had a 51-yard punt return in that game. And he says today that's what he will be remembered for no matter what happens the rest of his career.
2 other quick things. John Blake coached that, and a blitz is coming at the quarterback.
Eipel got it away, but threw it away. Faking the intended. Now, ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Ford Outfitters. No boundaries. Dell Computer, pioneering direct internet ideas for your business. Be direct. Dell. Morgan Stanley Dean Witter. We measure success one investor at a time. And National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go.
The other quick point was going to be that timing's everything. Justin Fuente was at quarterback at Oklahoma at that time, and he's a throwing guy. He transferred to Murray State, and now here the quarterback is Heupel.
2nd and 10 for Heupel. Longhorns showing blitz. They backed off, though. Underneath, he's got his tight end. That's Trent Smith with a nice catch. Brought down at the 37, and let's take it once again to John Saunders in New York. John?
Well, Terry, the Ohio State Buckeyes trying to avoid being beaten for the 3rd time this year. Purdue moving the ball nicely. Montrell Lowe from 5 yards out gets the touchdown. For more, go to the Bowl Championship Series online at ESPN.com, a part of the Go Network.
All right, John, so the Boilermakers. Things going their way right now. This crowd now bringing the noise because a key 3rd down for Heupel and the Sooners. Throws it up top. He's got Fagan out there, but it's picked off. Lee Jackson playing center field. To the 43.
Well, what you have here is a quarterback in Heupel who's forcing the issue. He's saying, I've got to make something happen here. We're down. My defense isn't stopping them. And get ready here. I'm going to show you. They're going to blitz at him. Stop the video right there. Right in there. Right in there. All right. But anyway, Jackson's playing free safety on that. And that's a play that was a forced pass. He was hoping his receiver could make the adjustment.
Lee Jackson, the man who was homesick a year ago, almost went home, left Texas, said that's it for college football. I'm not going to play, but talked back in. No one would pick him up, really. That's the key. They said, no, you've got to stay, and awfully glad he did. Down at midfield in the backfield. Rodney Rideau is the first man to hit Hodges-Mitchell.
Rodney Rideau in today's lineups, you get a lot of safety support right here. I'm going to follow Rodney. Boom, collision. 45, that's what they want you to do. That's why last week he had 20 tackles against Notre Dame.
That can be good or that can be bad when your safety is making 20 tackles.
It's not that good, but it's, in today's systems, though, he plays closer to the line. He's more involved in run support.
2nd and 15 after the loss of 5. Quick drop, quick throw, complete. Big Mike Jones, the tight end, brought down at the 42-yard line by William Barty.
Well, that was a foot race. It wasn't much of a foot race because that was a play that opened up for Texas because Oklahoma gambled. Mike Jones got it out in the flat, and he's just not the type of player that's going to make that big play. Now, as a former tight end and a 265-pounder, he's going to block well.
6'4", 260 out of San Antonio. Well, it leaves Major Applewhite with a 3rd and 8 situation here. 258 yards in the air so far.
Kwame Cavill right here, locked in man.
Got to get to the 34-yard line for the first down. As Nunez comes back in motion this way, here come the Sooners. They pick up the blitz. Can't make the completion. But that's the one-on-one coverage and situation you talked about.
Well, you know, we circled Kwame Cavill before that play, and obviously Major was going to go over the top. But Kwame Cavill is lined up right in here, and he's going to slip under. And he is open and wants the football. His man was trailing him. And they had a chance for a big play there.
Flowers was open as well. That ball was just thrown high and wide. So Chris Stockton comes on to punt. And it's Terrell Jackson back at his own 10-yard line. High kick sailing over the head of Jackson and almost out of the end zone on a fly. So they'll bring it back out to the 20-yard line. And the Sooners will start their next drive there. Major Applewhite with a rest on the sideline. 31-20 Texas right now. Sooners starting at their own 20. Heupel to throw. Quick out, complete, coming back this way. Savage, the freshman, has it. Paid for it at the 23-yard line. There's a penalty marker down on the other side of the football field.
Savage ran 50 yards to gain 2.
Exactly.
Great defense.
Bob Stoops doesn't like the result because they're going to move the Sooners back, I believe.
Rhythm is so important in football, particularly offensively. And Oklahoma had it early, hadn't had it since.
Personal foul. Face mask. It'll be a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Go against the Longhorns. Bob Stoops obviously upset about something else. Mac's the one who should be upset about that.
I think he's apologizing.
Well, they move it all the way up to the 38, and Mac is just totally frustrated, not really even upset.
There's that odd formation. They've got receivers underneath that. There you go. You got 3 right down here. That's a flag football formation.
Quick throw. Jackson with the catch up to the 48-yard line. That's where he's got to get to for the first down. We'll have to wait and see if they move the chains.
Wouldn't be surprised if Oklahoma goes a little bit of no huddle here just to change the tempo.
That formation, you saw the last time they got the penalty. This time they had 7 men up there on the line, though. They're going to take the time to measure.
Well, they were going no huddle there, but because of the measurement, have to stop. You know, if you're Mike Leach in Oklahoma right now, you do anything to change the pace of this game.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little.
No, Sarah. Got it. Well, Bob Stoops, we mentioned it. And you talk about the influences in his life. And his father, longtime high school coach. His brothers, obviously, all involved in coaching. Hayden Fry and Snyder and Spurrier. And maybe Spurrier, the one that he's learned the most from, or at least is the closest to. He learned a lot from Snyder at Kansas State. But certainly the influence is there.
I think so.
Quick throw, Daniels trying to get him outside with room to run, but nothing doing at all. He'll lose a couple as Ahmad Brooks read it perfectly. Now, take a look at the Applebee's game fact. 4 Oklahoma coaches beat Texas in their first season. Benny Owen, Jim McKenzie, Barry Switzer, and John Blake in 1996.
Jim McKenzie is a coach that came over from Arkansas that in 1 year beat Texas and helped turn the program around, died of a massive heart attack, and is remembered by football purists as a heck of a football coach.
2nd and 12, they give it to Daniels. He's got the speed to get outside, but he can't outrun Ahmad Brooks, who brings him down right at midfield. May have gotten to the 49-yard line.
You know what's happening, Terry, is that Oklahoma is pulling out all stops. I mean, they've got the flag football formation. They've got the slip screen. They've got the reverse. Texas, though, take away that penalty, they have answers for everything. They're not only adjusting and in the right places, but they're also tackling well. So it's going to be a matter of Oklahoma needing to make big plays on its own.
Saw some formations in the first half that they hadn't seen from Oklahoma. I don't care how many films you watch throughout the year. Heupel rolling, throwing. Savage with a catch at the 26-yard line. Antoine Savage with the second sensational catch of the afternoon.
Antoine Savage, a high school quarterback, makes a terrific adjustment to the football. Folks, he didn't start playing wide receiver until he got here in the fall. Coming into the game, the way the cornerbacks play at Texas, Oklahoma felt it would have those opportunities on the corner routes.
That was a good look at it, but it really didn't do it justice, because the adjustment is really,
right,
as you say, what was great about that catch. First down at the 26. Quick throw again. This time it's Fagan wrapped up in the backfield, thrown down at the 34 by Joe Walker.
Oklahoma being beaten on the corner by superior athletes, and also poor job of blocking right there. Brandon Daniels, number 8, was unable to do the job he needed to do to give his partner a chance to get downfield, but terrific play from Texas.
So the loss of 4, and it's 2nd and 14 from the 30 now. 4 receiver set as Heupel wants to change it at the line.
Watch for this.
Jackson one-on-one. They're going to throw to the other side, though. Incomplete. Here comes the flag. Trent Smith, the tight end, out there in the coverage by Roderick Babers. You remember Babers, the one who was involved with the questionable play earlier that was not called, and he was locked up with the other tight end, Chris Hammonds, down near the goal line. The lack of the call forced the field goal. No call it this time, though.
Well, this is another close call. As you get Mark Mangino there that Bob Stoops was talking to, the line coach. But as the ball's up, is there interference? I see contact late, but I don't see a reason for a penalty on that. Oklahoma fans will say, well, we've gotten the raw end a couple of times. I think Texas fans have a reason there to question the call.
We certainly didn't see it. It may have impeded his progress earlier. But
Pass interference on the defense. Be a spot foul. And an automatic first down.
You know, the other thing is that ball was not going to be caught. You know, that was almost an uncatchable ball here. Look how high this thing is coming in.
That was well out of bounds, and I don't think it was catchable, which is supposed to factor in the decision.
Exactly.
Here comes the blitz a little bit early. Well, Greg Brown got there quickly, I'll say that.
Well, Rodney Rideau got there quickly in the first half for Oklahoma. Now, do these teams gamble any? Are they blitz happy? That's eagerness.
You can't get any more aggressive than that.
Try decaf.
Prior to snap, offside on the defense. It'll be a 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's got to be a lonely feeling, doesn't it?
All right, watch our rocket come through here. Hut, hut.
What do you do?
That's a lonely feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
What do I do now?
Back there, there's no way you can get back.
Oklahoma needs a touchdown in a desperate way.
So all they have to do is get to the 5-yard line for a first down. It is 1st and 5. Heupel throws to the end zone. It's caught, but out of bounds. It is The interception will not stand. Lee Jackson was out of bounds. Now, there are penalty markers down at over the middle part of the field. So a penalty that was away from the actual play in the end zone.
Well, the Texas fans saying that that's not right, and there's a good look at Cale Gundy, one of the better passes in OU history. All right, we're going to see if Jackson right here, 23, gets 1 foot entirely in bounds. Foot is on the line. That is a good call. He is out of bounds. You have to have 1 foot in only, but it has to be in bounds.
Holding on the defense. The hold occurred on an eligible receiver. It'll be half the distance to the goal, but it carries an automatic first down.
With emphasis.
Kind of sounded like
Randy Crystal.
Sort of sounded like Red Cashion, didn't it? First down. The NFL ref.
Long time. First and goal then. From the 5. Thornton bounces back. Nowhere to run. May have lost a yard.
Well, I kind of expected that play to come, but well, when you go up against that Texas front, there won't be a better tandem up front that anyone will put on the field this year than what Texas does with Hampton and Rogers.
You see Hampton only a junior too. Same with Sean Rogers. Oklahoma minus 10 yards rushing on the afternoon.
13 seconds on the shot clock, the play clock, and Oklahoma hates to call a timeout because they need him because they're trailing, but confusion, they have to score. So
Mike Leach will have a word with his cornerback Josh Heupel, and it'll be 2nd and goal from the 6 when we return. (31-20), but it's 2nd and goal from the 6-yard line for the Oklahoma Sooners. Here in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Going right into the end zone, which holds all of those clad in burnt orange. Josh Heupel, they split the backs, Thornton and Luttrell. Out of the shotgun. Here come the Longhorns on the blitz. Thornton holds on inside the 5, fighting his way maybe to the 4. That is it. D.D. Lewis, the quick middle linebacker on the hit.
You know, earlier in this game, Oklahoma had the clear advantage down here. Now they don't, because watch the tackling by Texas. Great athletes. They come draw a line right there, and they say, if you can get past us, you can score. Not many people will get past Texas in that situation.
Big play. 3rd and goal from the 4. Thornton, the lone setback with 4 receivers in.
Audible sees something he likes.
Heupel has time, throws to the end zone, incomplete. Daniels can't hold on to it.
Talk about a game of inches. You know, you work out all summer and fall, and these games are huge. Almost a spectacular catch. If that ball's thrown 5 inches shorter, it's a touchdown and a celebration and about to be a 4-point game.
So for Bob Stoops, it'll be a field goal try for Tim Duncan, the sophomore out of Clinton, Oklahoma. Got to inch just a little bit closer. They're going to fake the throw. He got there. Duncan in the end zone off the fake, and Stoops comes up with a little trick. Patrick Fletcher, the backup quarterback, the holder, and they run it outside. Duncan in the end zone. How do you like that?
I'm very surprised that Texas wasn't thinking that. But Oklahoma was, and maybe they weren't thinking it because I followed Oklahoma football since about 1965, and I don't remember one of those happening. So Oklahoma goes for 2 now to try to draw to within 3. Big play.
Again, 4 receivers. Luttrell, the fullback, in the backfield. Heupel hit as he throws, but they get it there. They get it to the end zone. Savage makes the catch, and it's a 3-point game. The Red River shootout is turning into what may be a classic.
Heupel a little banged up, but he feels rejuvenated with new points on the board. Now here's the touchdown. This is a quarterback out of Norman High School, and Patrick Fletcher, who does a great job of just realizing it's basically a little jump shot. Kicker around the corner. Longhorns completely confused as Ahmad Brooks was the only one there. Heupel knows he has pressure. Pressure's coming. Pressure's coming. 300, that's about 600 pounds on the quarterback.
Brown came, Hampton came.
What did I tell you about those momentum shifts about 3 hours ago?
17-0 to start the game. Oklahoma on top. It was all Texas then in the second quarter. 17 straight unanswered points to tie it up at halftime. And now it is a 3-point game in the closing moments of the third quarter. I wouldn't go away from the TV set.
Well, and this is the time of game, and I've been out there a lot. I can tell you that both groups of fans feel that you've got to respond to the other. The Oklahoma fans are going crazy, and the Texas fans go, well, we're going to respond back. And so what you have is 75,000 people on their feet screaming.
Maybe not another scene like the second Saturday in October here at the Cotton Bowl. There's a look at the Texas faithful. Jeremy Jones at the 4, bringing it back. Corralled at the 22, brought down hard. But that's where the Longhorns will start. Seth Luttrell with the tackle. And don't forget, near the conclusion of today's game, we'll select the Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will donate a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund beginning this year. Chevy will also donate 2 $1,000 high school scholarships. That's something new, and it's coming up near the end of the game.
A lot of our games we can choose that pretty early. Hang on, Podsy. We aren't picking that for a while.
A long way to go here. So out of the eye now. Ricky Brown moves aside, but Major Applewhite. And this place is as loud as it's been all afternoon. Hodges, Mitchell, not much running room. Rocky Kalmus, number 20. We've called his name all afternoon. So the final seconds of the third quarter, we're going to head to the fourth, and this one very much in doubt. This is a great one. 31-28 Texas as we head to the fourth. We're back after this message and a word from our ABC station. The fourth quarter about to begin here in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. The Red River shootout has been just that. 31-28. The Longhorns with the lead and the football. Major Applewhite on the roll. Under pressure, throws. Got a one-on-one matchup. Cavill out there, but incomplete. He can't haul it in. Mike Woods, the good coverman, a bit shaken up on that play.
Well, and this, what better matchup do you get than that if you're Oklahoma and Texas? Cavill against Woods, two guys who will play in the NFL. Mike Woods comes up injured on this play, but Cavill almost makes a spectacular catch. Woods back on the field. That's a great matchup there.
6'2" against 5'10", and Kwame Cavill with a vertical leap, they say, of 40 inches plus. That's getting up.
That is huge, especially for a guy that doesn't run. You know, he's not a speedster.
Yep. Third down and 8 for Major and the Horns. Here come the Sooners again on the blitz. Over the middle, he can't hang on. Cavill one-on-one with Ante Jones, who is all over it. And Kwame getting a little extra in after the play.
Emotion is such a big part of this game. You know, it's a game of inches, and when you have more motion, you bust through the line. Watch Kalmus here. Bowls over his guy. They get a little extra pressure on Applewhite because I think of that extra energy. They're doing the same type of blitzing they did before. It's the same blitz pickup, but an emotion is such a huge part.
Ryan Long back to punt for the Longhorns. Jarrell Jackson back at his own 34-yard line. A lot of Sooners up there on the line. Low knuckleball that's going to bounce out at the 49-yard line, maybe midfield. I don't know if that went off the side of his foot or he just mishit it entirely. 26-yard punt. Opening moments of the fourth quarter here. 3-point game. The Sooners with great field position to start this drive. Right at midfield. 1st and 10 for Josh Heupel, who's already thrown for 288 yards in this game through the hands of Brandon Daniels. And how about an update on the Boilermakers in Ohio State from John Saunders in New York. John?
Terry, some terrific fourth quarters today. In this one, Ohio State's Jonathan Wells goes in from 2 yards out after he takes the pitch. 2-point conversion is good. 25-22. Ohio State with the lead, but Purdue is marching. Meanwhile, this one's headed to overtime. Terry.
How about the ABC games today? Not bad, huh?
Absolutely.
Heupel underneath. Nowhere to go. Right at the line of scrimmage, Michael Thornton. That'll go obviously as a completed pass, but there was nothing happening with that play from the get-go. Anthony Hicks read it perfectly with Greg Brown.
What a great game. I mean, what we had early was Oklahoma tricking, okay? Texas makes the adjustments, and they kind of shut them down. Mike Leach comes back and adjusts a little bit more, but now they're playing football, and it's whichever athletes are the best and whichever team makes the biggest plays is going to win this game.
So many big third down plays throughout the game, and here's another one. 2 for 9, the Sooners on third down. Here come the Longhorns on the blitz. Flushed out is Heupel. Got room to run. Wrapped up, driven out of bounds at the 44-yard line. Anthony Hicks, the senior out of Lake Highlands High School here in Dallas.
Heupel sure would have liked to have had some help on the top left of your screen. He's got 2 receivers out there. When he scrambles, you want to get deep. You want to get someone down the field. Texas doing a great job of coverage. Heupel's wheels won't allow him to make a first that almost any other Oklahoma quarterback in the past would have. But, of course, no quarterback in the past would have had 7 gazillion yards.
Jeff Ferguson's punt awaited by Courtney Garcia, the redshirt freshman. So another big stop by the Texas defense. No pressure this time. And caught. Did he get to the end zone, break the play? No, they're going to down it inside the 2-yard line at the 1-yard line. What a play. A 43-yard punt. But it is downed by Michael Thompson. Tiptoe, get it back, never breaks the plane. The Longhorns backed up with a 3-point lead.
Oklahoma downs this ball inside the 1-yard line on Texas, and in terms of special team play today, Texas has again not performed well. They've allowed a field goal touchdown fake, a kickoff to Daniels several times. They've missed a field goal, and they're punting. They've only averaged 32 yards, and Oklahoma on the other side has done a terrific job in that area.
Brown and Mitchell out of the backfield. Here comes Hodges. He's got a hole. He busted it out. It's a foot race at this point to the 36-yard line. William Barty ran him down, but Hodges Mitchell gets him out of trouble just like that.
You talk about a play that'll shift momentum. Hodges finds him a hole, darts through, and is quicker than Rideau in that case, who was just grabbing cloth.
35 yards when all they really expected was and hoped was to get a couple and get out of the end zone. Yeah. 144 yards for Hodges Mitchell today.
He almost went all the way.
Applewhite, loads of time, throws out to Nunez. Lyon gets out to the 43-yard line. Pee Wee Woods knocks him out there. He'll be second in the long 4. Well, that's a run that Mitchell actually will watch on tape, and they'll give him a lot of grief about not scoring on it, being run down from behind.
But they'll have smiles on their faces, because when you have an average of that, which just got boosted by that run, but when you have a total of that, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Oklahoma tired defensively. They don't have the depth, perhaps, to stay in a game like this full term. They think that their condition keeps them there, but the depth is not really something that plays to their favor.
And as you mentioned, it happened last week against Notre Dame. Now, whether or not that was just Notre Dame being that good and figuring things out, or Oklahoma wearing down, who knows? 2nd and 3. Mitchell hit, can't wrestle away from Rodney Rideau, the senior from Midwest City, Oklahoma. He did another big day, had 20 tackles, as we said, against the Irish.
They'd like to run clock, but more than anything, they'd like to pick up first downs by land, by air, by sea, whatever it takes.
12:36 and counting.
I'm going to quit saying big play, okay? Every play.
Everyone is, isn't it?
Big play.
Cavill in motion, bringing Woods with him.
Man on man right there.
Long count. Applewhite throws. Nunez. He can't haul it in, but there's a flag from behind.
Big call. Very important call right there. That'll be a first down, Texas.
Rideau and Woods were there, and there was a lot of contact early.
Tell you what, we've got the juices are flowing in the crowd and on the field. Major Applewhite and Rideau 45 yakking at each other.
Pass interference on the defense. It'll be a spot foul. Automatic first down.
Rodney with 9 tackles this afternoon. You don't see Major doing that often. You see Kwame usually talking back and forth.
That's right. This is a big play from that angle. It is really hard to see. It looked to be tight coverage, and whether he got there before or not, we couldn't tell from that. But the official threw a flag, and it's a first down, Texas.
Doesn't matter what anybody
That's
thinks
right.
now. But it's first down at the 46. Play fake under pressure again. Goes back to the back out of the backfield. Mitchell, and he is just swarmed under. Rocky Kelmus, one of the men who dumped him, and Applewhite slow getting up in the backfield. He's taken some hits the last 2 weeks, hasn't he?
Yeah, he really has. And, you know, Applewhite is a tough guy. But, I mean, enough is enough. Last week, he was flat pummeled. And this week, the guy getting him right there, his name's Torrance Marshall. He's 6'3". He's 248. He runs a 40 in 4.4.
Not any bad. The Tornado, that's when you get that nickname. Run the 4.440. Going to change the play again at the line of scrimmage. Applewhite on 2nd and 6 as they split the backs. Throwing it up top, going down the sideline, incomplete. The best chance of catching that ball was Mike Woods. Cavill had to come over and try to break it up himself.
Well, the Oklahoma section calling for offensive interference here. Let's see what it is, as he is very well covered on this play. Woods has Cavill. Cavill doing a good job of adjusting to that football and almost came up with the play.
You start to play defensive back as a receiver, and you're exactly right. That's a big play. As we say it again, another big play.
The defensive back has to be aggressive in that case, and he wasn't.
Yep. 3rd and 6 now. Rideau again showing blitz. Here come the Sooners again. Applewhite on the run. Nunez with the catch, close to a first down. We'll see if he gets it. Williams and Jones on the coverage, but Ryan Nunez, the second leading receiver in the Big 12, on the catch.
This is what the Texas people know and expect of Applewhite. And that is, when the defense gives you something, you take advantage of it. You're in 3rd down, you've got to convert it. You know what you're going to get from Oklahoma. They're going to get you on islands on the outside. You're going to play man coverage, and you just got to take what they give you. And he does a great job of doing that right there.
Got the first down, so they moved the chains, and it's 1st and 10 at the 44. Ricky Brown over to the right side now. Now he's going back to the left. Major says, no, you're on the wrong side.
Play clock 2.
Just gets it off, and Mitchell sidesteps one out of the backfield, fights his way just about back to the line of scrimmage. Barry Holloman, Corey Callens, the 2 men.
Oklahoma is a player they would really love to be able to put down as a tackle. There you see the big guy out of Tulsa, out of Jinx High School. He's 6'2", 260, and he's a terrific player, but he's a much better tackle than end. And because of a shortage at end, he's had to play out there quite a bit, and that's where he's lining up again right now on the left side.
And they have been banged up on the defensive line. Jeremy Wilson-Guest just coming back off a back injury. At least they get him back this week. Sooners coming again. Major Applewhite says, no, can't do it.
Well, that's a surprise that Major let that clock run out on him. That'll be a 5-yard delay call.
Prior to the snap, delay on the offense, be a 5-yard penalty and remain second down.
Just decided the risk wasn't worth it.
Yeah, maybe so. You know, Oklahoma had almost everyone within a couple of yards of the line of scrimmage. Basically, everyone is right there. They're manned up on the outside, and Major's going, I hadn't seen that a whole lot. And Greg Davis may say that's a wise thing to do, but I don't know. I would think you would go ahead and audible into something, except they're out of time.
12 penalties now in the afternoon for Texas. Mack Brown will not be happy with that. That's been harping on that since the first week. Quick throw, nice catch on a flanker screen, but down goes Cavill, wrapped up the entire time by Mike Woods. He had a hold of his jersey from behind.
Well, there's a lot of trash being talked right now. Cavill and Woods, 9-2. Let's watch this matchup. Woods wins this one, and then the talk continues. You know, Kwame promised us that last night, and Woods is getting into it with him as well.
That's basically the same play he scored on, the quick hitter there, but Woods was all over it. So 3rd and 16 from midfield. 3 receivers to the near side in trips.
Blitz right there.
They pick it up, throw to the right side. They got a man down there inside the 20. To the 13 is Montrell Flowers, who beat Mike Woods one-on-one. And a perfectly thrown football from Major Applewhite.
Well, why is Major Applewhite so good? Well, folks, there he is one more time against Oklahoma's best. He throws that ball just absolutely perfectly. He's been on his back about 15 times, and after that play, it's number 16. That is a large play.
2-on-2. Flowers gets the best of him. 4 catches for Montrell Flowers for 111 yards.
A touchdown for Texas versus 3 is really big here.
From the 14, Applewhite going up to the end zone. A lot of contact. Nunez ran in to Mike Woods, and they're both asking for interference, offensive and defensive. Neither's going to get it.
One of the receivers ran the wrong route. You had a couple of guys running into each other. They need to catch the breaths right now and figure out where they are. But, you know, back to the point of the 3-pointer being big. Texas makes a field goal here. It's 34. That leaves Oklahoma 6 down, and a touchdown, of course, gets them over the top with the PAT. But a touchdown from Texas extends that out to a 10-point lead with probably at that time 7.5 minutes to go.
But with an offense like Oklahoma's, that's not insurmountable, but certainly a big difference, right? Out of the gun. Inside handoff, Mitchell. Flags down on the play. He's down to the 10-yard line. William Barty on the stop. Major Applewhite, by the way, has thrown for 310 yards. So he had 293 a year ago in this matchup, and that was the series record. He owns it now once again. Going to go against the Sooners. So all you can do is shake your head. Seen enough penalties today, huh?
Offside on the defense. Second down, replay.
You know, you want to get in there as close as you can to that line of scrimmage, but you can't get that helmet across the line of scrimmage.
We get some of the scores from around the country, and of course John will keep us updated rest of the afternoon. The 11th play of the drive now for the Longhorns on 2nd and 5. Mitchell fights his way to the outside. That was all Hodges Mitchell. Touchdown Longhorns. A flag comes in late. So hold on. Going to bring it back. The hold against the Horns. Well, kind of the way this game has gone today.
Holding on the offense. It'll be a 10-yard penalty, and we'll replay second down.
I think it's Raisler here coming around. We'll watch him pull. See if this is where it wraps his arms right there. You cannot do that. They've given liberal rules to offensive linemen now, but you can't wrap your arms around it, and that's one of the rules of emphasis this year. That's a very good call. Texas fans will not like that, but it is a good call.
And Raisler, one of the best in the Big 12, a 3-year starter. 2nd and 15 as Major Applewhite brings the Horns up to the line of scrimmage. Blitz, throw, end zone, touchdown, Nunez. Can't pick it up any better than that. And Applewhite wants a little bit more at the end of the play.
And Oklahoma wants some more cornerbacks. Can you imagine how tired Pee Wee Woods and Mike Woods are of those 50-yard dashes? Texas exploiting that because they can run multiple receivers at Oklahoma's limited cornerbacks.
37-28.
You know what that means when that happens? That means that one team has a few more better players, I guess.
Comes down to as simple as that.
The game's not over, but that's what it means in that case.
Yep. Up and good. The extra point and another look at another strike for Major Applewhite to Ryan Nunez. His second catch in the end zone this afternoon, and a key one. 38-28 the lead.
Major Applewhite made the play here, got creamed, touchdown, and watch what he does now as he goes down and gets in the face of the Oklahoma cornerback Pee Wee Woods. And Major has the better part of that as they cap a long, nice drive, do they not, Terry? 99 yards?
12 plays, 99 yards.
Wow.
Remember, they started at their 1 after the ball was down on the punt, and Hodges Mitchell busted it out on first down for 35 yards. So Major getting a little extra after the touchdown pass, and 328 yards in the air and 3 touchdowns. And remember, he started the ball game 7 for 24.
Right.
He was awful in the first quarter and a half in terms of completion percentage. He had some drops, of course, but he was slow going early on.
Don't look at that face and say Opie's not a tough guy. First of all, if you call him Opie, he might slap you. He is a tough guy.
Terrell Jackson from his own 7. Cut back across and out to the 28-yard line. Well, this is not your father's offense that you're watching out here, folks. The Oklahoma wishbone taking you back. Dean?
Little Joe Washington, in my mind, there was never a better player. Thomas Lott to Billy Sims. If there was one better, it might have been number 20. And this guy with the bandana, they'll be throwing a flag on him today before Jamel Holloway came in. But right now, if Oklahoma is going to come back from this 10-point deficit, it will be through the air and the arm of Josh Heupel.
Saw his counterpart a moment ago, who has done the job for Texas, but now it is Heupel. They throw it to Thornton behind the line. Cedric Woodard was there. He almost could have caught it easier than Thornton. What a tackle. What a read. Now from ground to air throughout the years. Look at this stat right now, the graphic. 22 completions in 1975 on the season, folks.
Well, that was a national championship team, so they weren't too bad.
You were on that. You ought to know. And, of course, more than that today, in today's game. It's amazing how things have changed. 2nd and 18 after the loss. Heupel throws as he backpedals and overthrows the intended receiver, Brandon Daniels.
Josh Heupel is not getting help right now. And this is a time of game. It's all come down to this. He has to have time to throw the football.
See, there's the guy. Yeah, he was running the show before Thomas Lott.
How about those mutton chops in there?
Go ahead. Maybe a little goatee now.
Wow.
But,
wow.
You look a little bit different these days.
What about sideburns?
Go ahead.
This is a huge play, though, for Oklahoma because you know, when you're down 10 with 7 to go, it's a tough spot. Offensive line breakdown the last time. They have no chance unless they give him time to throw.
Only 2 for 11 on 3rd down for the Sooners today. Out of the shotgun, pick up the blitz. Incomplete, and Heupel went down hard. Rick Babers, the freshman cornerback, on the corner blitz, and he just pounded Heupel.
Heupel hammered the play before, and Babers right in the face of him. Texas has this game in good shape. It's not over, but they have it in very good shape right now.
Yeah, remember the kicking game and how important that has been and how Texas has struggled. So
they've overcome that. Been good enough to do it.
Courtney Garcia at his own 40-yard line awaiting the punt of Jeff Ferguson. This is a good one. Garcia back to his 20 and is going to watch it go out of bounds at the 16-yard line. So no chance to return it. A 64-yard punt. What did I say about the kicking game? All day long we've taken you back to great games in this series. Just last year, Ricky Williams donning the jersey, the number of Doak Walker. The man he befriended, and they got close just before Doak Walker passed away. The house that Doak built, the Heisman Trophy winner back in 1948. And of course, Ricky would go on to win the Heisman a year ago. But it's a great story last year when he put on number 37.
Absolutely. Great guy, and also in Doak.
The Longhorns trying to, well, not sit on their lead, but at least protect it here. Hodges Mitchell to the outside across the 20 to the 22. A 10-point lead for Texas. Well, ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the Pontiac Sunfire. Hot set of wheels. Money left to burn. Ameritrade. Believe in yourself. The Waterboy. Touchstone home video scores with outrageous bonus footage. And Chili's, a proud sponsor of ABC College Football. The sun beginning to set. A first down or 2 will put this game close to out of reach. Mitchell on 2nd and 5. Wrapped up right at the 20. Rocky Kalmus again in early on the stop.
Yeah, not so quickly, because Rocky Kalmus is a gamer. I mean, he is a tough football plays today, and I always think that plays are much more important the time of possession, because a team can go score very quickly and it's not that big an issue. But yards, look at the yards that Texas has gotten today out of those 71 plays. 513 and counting.
Under 6 minutes now on 3rd and 5. There goes Mitchell in motion. Here comes Kalmus again. They're blitzing. Applewhite picks it up, but it's knocked down. Torrance Marshall got his right arm up, the junior out of Boonville, Missouri. Sunset High School in Miami, then Kemper Military Academy. Well traveled, but this is a tough player. Here they come, though.
Middle linebacker sneaks in, goes over the top of his guy, and is able to bat that one down. As I mentioned earlier, the Oklahoma staff feeling they can bat balls down the way they did earlier this year. I think it was against Louisville. And Chris Redmond, they batted some 10 balls down. Those batted balls can turn into minimally an incompletion where you stop the clock, but you could pick one of those off and get in the end zone.
Ryan Long on once again. Jarrell Jackson back at the 36. Should be pretty good field position for the Sooners here. Line drive punt as they throw the flag back where Long got hit. Jackson bringing it back to the 48, but I think that's all academic.
Well, that is a killer if you're Oklahoma. An absolute killer of a penalty. Antoine Savage comes through thinking he had a chance at that block, and A for effort, F for production.
Yeah, Bob's
got to be smart.
Yep. What are you thinking? But you're right. You want your young kids being aggressive. He's only a freshman, and you want them to have that intensity. But you got to think.
roughing the kicker. It'll be a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
They're not just running into the kicker, but roughing the kicker and automatic.
Well, you know, you ask your defense to go out there and stop them one more time, and they give you a big effort, and they do it, and then you have a dumb penalty like that. You would have had the ball at the 50-yard line and a realistic chance of coming back and handling the game. The game's not over, but you would have had a real good chance. Now, we'll see what the defensive effort is summoned up by the defense at this point.
You're thinking ahead the last 5:27. 2 timeouts left for the Sooners. So it's 1st and 10 at the 36 now for Major Applewhite. Hodges Mitchell with a big hole, but it closed quickly up to the 41-yard line. By the way, Applewhite not looking to pass right now, but he set a career high in attempts with 47 on the afternoon, well over 300 yards in the air. Look at the rushing yards.
Texas trying to crank up some more, and I think they will right now. And Oklahoma at 4. It's great to throw it. You have to be able to run it some.
And really something that Texas did not do last week against Kansas State in the second half. Established that running game.
Yeah, and they admitted that they abandoned the running game too quickly against Kansas State. They learned a lesson, although they were very effective in the air today.
Keeping it on the ground. Mitchell with a hole. He's got a first down for the Longhorns. They'll move the chain. 4:39 and counting. Corey Heineke, the sophomore defensive end, made the stop, but a little too late.
Heineke is a player that most didn't expect to be playing a lot for Oklahoma at this point in the critical game, but there's a guy that has some moxie, some guts, some leadership, and Applewhite's in there saying, guys, we've got this one. An incredible comeback from us, but let's finish it off. No penalties, no turnovers.
Sooners take a timeout, so they're down to 1 timeout remaining. Mack Brown on the field, have a word with his offense. He likes the way things have gone so far. 38-28. 10-point game during that last timeout. Mack Brown out on the field talking to his offense, doing the coaching during the game that he does, and the teaching. You know, I think most teaching really does take place during games, not necessarily at practice. First down at the 49. Mitchell loses the football, and the Sooners have it. Woods has it at the 40-yard line. 4:19 left, and the turnover caused by the Sooners, and they come up with a huge play.
Mike Woods injured there, but a huge turnover for Oklahoma as Hodges Mitchell had him a little gash there, had him a little opening. What a lick.
William Barty, and who was it? Roy Williams, number 38. Yeah.
Woods was scooping it up, thinking he had a chance to go around the corner, but nonetheless, Oklahoma 61 yards away from pay dirt.
4:19 on the clock. Heupel spreads them offensively now. Brings Josh Norman in tight. Time to throw, gets it out to the flat, but overthrows his intended receiver, Brandon Daniels.
Texas has been all over the Oklahoma receivers in the second half. There is not room to breathe as Mike Woods is just totally spent and looks a little injured at this point. But that's been the key to the game, in my opinion. Oklahoma got after them early, and then Texas made the adjustments, and they have really not given the receivers any room.
But 2nd and 10, they'll spread it once again.
They got the 3, and this number 3 is an H-back. He is a tight end, running back sort, and Josh Norman only blocking here.
Over the middle, it's Savage, the freshman. He's got a first down. He's into Texas territory at the 48. Joe Walker made the stop.
Savage injured now as Savage runs what is called a post dig route, where he's down here, he's here, and then across the middle. Could do a little artwork, but they could use a little help there. But that's what the route was. It was good protection and good execution, as Texas will be laying off just a little bit.
Football isn't supposed to be pretty.
Well, it has been in some ways today, but not with the flag.
Just effective. Out of the gun again, Heupel will stay there the rest of the way. Wants to run. Got through the line and has some room. To the 37-yard line. And he's close to another first down. He may have it. Sean Rogers ran him down from behind.
No way Oklahoma calls a quarterback draw. Here comes the blitz. He knows this guy doesn't pick it up. He can't block it. And so Josh Heupel, who does not run well, runs well, makes the first down, and with 1 timeout to go and 3:47, Oklahoma's alive.
When he has to, it happens once in a while. B.B. Lewis came on the blitz, had nowhere to go but around him. So first down at the 37 now. 3:37 left. Going up top, wants it all. One-on-one, broken up. Damian Mackey was the intended receiver. Irvis Hill step for step.
And football in the year 2000 is a lot of fun. I mean, this is a lot of fun to throw and catch and to defend. This ball is on the money. Great defense by Irvis Hill. If he doesn't make that diving knockdown, this ball game is about to be a 2 or a 3-point game. And you know what? They're probably going to do the same thing here in a minute.
Again, 2nd and 10. Both secondaries tested today, as you imagine, but the young secondary for Texas has come up with bigger plays. Heupel over the middle. Jackson catch to the 18. Another first down for the Sooners.
Expect Oklahoma to go no huddle. The clock will stop, so that won't be really an issue. Heupel again working the middle of the field. As the post route comes open, Longhorns playing a little bit deep at this point, and Sooners able to take advantage. Now it gets a little tougher, Terry, because you have a restriction there at the end of the end zone.
Trent Smith, the tight end, now one of the 4 wide receivers, and there goes Smith back towards the line. Plenty of time again. Heupel to the end zone. Savage can't haul it in. Extended, but couldn't quite get there.
Well, Oklahoma almost gets it here. It's good defense, but Oklahoma almost gets the touchdown, and you only use about 5 seconds with the incompletion. I'm telling you, players are spent on that field today. I cannot imagine being a secondary guy or a receiver, and I know the other ones are tired as well.
Sun has gone down. It's not quite as warm, but it's been humid all afternoon. 2nd and 10. Heupel. It's picked off. Ahmad Brooks with a diving interception, which stops the drive. The 3rd interception of the afternoon. That should bring it to a close.
Well, Ahmad Brooks makes a great play on this. It's going backside underneath. Heupel risks an interception. He doesn't think that Ahmad Brooks is going to make that play. And he's not a superior athlete. But watch him on this play as he stretches. That's a winning football play. And Josh Heupel knew it when he threw it that it had a chance of happening. That's a sick feeling right there.
And he knows there that it's over. Or close to it, at least. That's a great interception, though, huh?
You bet. And that's the thing about a game like this that is so much fun. Despite the penalties, it's been a game of big plays. Texas has made more big plays than Oklahoma, and Oklahoma made its share.
Final timeout now spent by the Sooners with 2:47 left. There goes Mac Brown again out on the field. And yeah, quite an afternoon. Back and forth. And a huge lead early on for Oklahoma.
Is it Sunday yet? This has been a long one, but a good one. There's a good look. Cale Gundy, the former superstar at Oklahoma, and Josh Heupel behind him, the present one. And Oklahoma has 2 more waiting in the wings that have a chance to be special quarterbacks. And Nate Hibble, a Georgia transfer, sitting out, and also Jason White out of Tuttle, Oklahoma. But there's your winner today, number 11. I think he's the guy that gets my vote for the most valuable player today.
Well, Major Apple, while you talk about that pressure of people being behind you too, and you know, we were talking yesterday to the coaches and Greg Davis for Texas, and said, you know, last week the 6 turnovers against Kansas State. Is there and before I could get the question out, he said, no, there's no decision to be made. We do not go to Chris Sims right now. He said maybe there is a decision at some point down the road. This is Major's team.
Well, and he also said, and I'm a big fan of both these offensive coordinators, but Greg Davis, certainly a stellar guy. And I said, what are you going to ask Major Applewhite to do tomorrow? He said everything but sell programs.
.247 on the clock. They give it to Mitchell, who fumbled on the last series, remember. He busted outside this time, though. Knocked out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Well, today's Chevrolet players of the game, as you would expect. Josh Heupel, 311 yards on the afternoon. And Major Applewhite, 22 of 47 for 328 yards. In recognition of their efforts, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each school's General Scholarship Fund. And beginning this year, Chevy will also donate $1,000 to 2 high schools in their name. The numbers on Applewhite.
Wow. Heupel's thrown one more. I predicted there would be 85 passes minimally thrown in this game, and right now it's standing at 95.
You shortchanged him.
That's right. Applewhite a career high 47. I would have thought that you'd see pigs fly before you'd see numbers like that.
Can you imagine back in the day just thinking that would ever happen? Look at the numbers on Heupel.
No. Ice his arm.
What would you give? Yeah, you ran the offense. What would you have given to be able to run an offense like this?
Both my German Shepherds and my bicycle.
You're going to get the PETA people after you, man. Mitchell for a couple of yards. Rocky Kelmus, double digits now in tackles. He's got a ton on the afternoon.
You know, one of the great things about this is the coming together of the people from Austin and the surrounding area, and from Norman and Oklahoma City and Tulsa. In fact, there's a saying in Oklahoma this week, the last one out of the state, turn off the lights. And that's really basically how it is. And Bob Stoops has done a great job of bringing pride back to the program, and I think that it's headed straight up. But Mack Brown wins this one, and I hand it to Mack and his staff for staying poised, staying with their game plan, and bringing a young football team through. And I know that Mack will hope that this game does for them what the one last year did, and for promoting it to a big year.
Here comes Mitchell. Out to the 36 before sitting down right in front of William Barty. Well, certainly when you're on the losing end of this, it's an uphill battle. You do it a couple of times in a row and you're going to hear about it. But there's no question that there's optimism in Norman, and there's a sense that the right man is in the right spot, and this program is going to be back where it once was very soon.
Well, Stoops he's performed like a 10-year head coach. I mean, he's a family guy first. He was prepared for his job by Bill Snyder. He took some of those good things, but he also has some of Spurrier's swagger and brutal honesty that I think help him.
Mitchell has got 202 yards on the afternoon, adding to his career high. And we go to New York and check in with John Saunders again. John?
All right, Terry, thanks a lot. Here on this update, Virginia Tech against Rutgers. This was before any scoring had come into the game. A long pass by Michael Vick, 74 yards to Andre Davis. Rutgers stayed with him for a little while, not for long. 42-14. Virginia Tech trying to run the table to a national championship, perhaps. Terry.
All right, John, the win last week against Virginia Cavaliers. Virginia Tech, the Hokies are rolling.
Well, Frank Beamer's as good a coach as there is. Their defense is terrific. The special teams are awesome. And now Vick is showing that he can be a nice quarterback. They've got a nice schedule, too.
Look at that, Dean. 204 yards on the afternoon for Hodges Mitchell. I still think it was Applewhite who made the big plays to get into the end zone. But
well, I think that Texas wins this game without Hodges Mitchell, taking nothing away from him. They don't win this game without